To GH today here on GHOne television. We are live on Facebook, on X, and on YouTube. Of course, this is the best way to wake up in the capital and beyond. From now till 10 a.m., we are live on your dial, bringing you nothing but the best in conversations, the best in interviews as well, because today we'll be sitting with three gentlemen who will be helping us appreciate some running stories in the country. I'm sure Akwatia violence is over, but the NPP has some real concerns, petitioning the IGP to pick up and investigate Sofazoka, and then one other member of the NDC. They believe strongly that the police need to intervene swiftly to be able to bring the situation under some proper control. But aside Akwatia, will also be touching on the Chief Justice. Well, she's not taking her removal lightly. She's actually asking now the ECOWAS court to rule in her favor. We'll be dissecting that. And then we'll also touch base with the recent call by President John Dramani Mahama. He's lifted the ban on the sale of state lands. He says that would now ensure that there are some strict measures put in place to ensure that the lands that belong to the state do not end up in the wrong hands, and that lands that are also acquired compulsorily by the state after a period return to allodial owners, and there is no whims and then challenges with regards to land administration in terms of state lands. We'll be delving into all of this, but remember, you're a big part of the conversation. So we invite you to also join us. We are live, like I said, on Facebook, on X, on YouTube. You can drop your comments there. As and when the show progresses, we'll be getting into that conversation. And yesterday, we started the conversation on the pharmaceutical industry. Today, we'll also be delving deeper into that conversation. So it's a really packed show from now till 10 a.m. And I'm excited to be on your television this morning. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah. Let's kick off with the quote of the day. And this morning's quote is from Dalai Lama. Just one small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day. One small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day. So whatever it is this morning, just make sure that there is that one positive thought in the midst of the chaos, in the midst of the crisis, in the midst of all the challenges that you are going through. One small positive thought. And one of the thoughts that you can have positively is to tune into this show and be a part of our conversations. That's our quote of the day. So Teacher Abaz is helping us appreciate some new words every single day, helping to improve our vocabulary and make sure that we're on top of issues when it comes to words. Let's check out the word of the day.
Today's word is S-E-G-U-E. S-E-G-U-E, segue. It's a verb. Nanama, what does it mean?
Segue means to move smoothly from one song, idea, activity, condition, discussion, etc. to another.
Can we have an example?
Okay, my example of segue is the debate began to get heated, so Sewa segued the discussion from politics to sports.
Very smart of Sewa. Segue.
Well, so again, if this is the first time you are hearing of this word, kindly lift your right hand and say, I commit to learn new words every day, because I have never seen this word, segue. And when I saw it, my first impression was, oh, that's like seg. But thank you, Teacher Abaz, who is now a model as well, helping us appreciate new words with Nanama Aqua there. That is the word of the day. Let's zoom into action with our video of the day. I mean, I saw a BlackBerry phone in there. I don't know the last time I saw a BlackBerry phone. But that's the video of the day. Let's now check out Inside Out. Well, on Inside Out today, we are still not taking the spotlight off of Akwatia because quite a lot happened in Akwatia. And even after the by-election in Akwatia, so much is happening. The New Patriotic Party is clearly not happy about the assault meted out to Masaudu, who is the third national vice chair of the NPP, by a national vice chair of the NDC, so for Azoka. Now, they have petitioned the Ghana Police Service, in fact, the IGP, to look into the matter. And so yesterday they issued a statement basically registering their displeasure at what they say is assault on one of their own in Akwatia. Now, they have said in the petition to the IGP that they've also included video evidence to that effect, basically telling the IGP that your men were there, your men were at the scene of the altercation, your men saw exactly what happened, and you need to take some actions against Sofo Azoka. So the statement of the NPP on your screens. Let me quickly run you through the statement from the New Patriotic Party as you see on your screen. And this is signed by Justin Kodjo who is General Secretary for the NPP. And it says that the New Patriotic Party condemns the threats of death against Minority Leader Osahin Alexander Kwamna Apenyomakin, the National Organizer Henry Nanaboache, and Honorable Frank Anodompre by the first National Vice Chair of the NDC, Sofo Azoka, and Alhaji Abdul Wahab Amadou, who is the Buakwa North Constituency Communications Officer of the NDC. It says that the party further condemns the unprovoked physical attack of its third national vice chairman, Alhaji Osman Masawudu, by Chief Sofo Azoka and his notorious hoodlums. Such violent conduct by no mean a person than a national officer of the ruling party and a constituency officer diminishes the gains of our democracy and has the potential to create further insecurity in the country in the face of Ghana's recent decline in the Global Peace Index ranking. The party will formally lodge complaints with the Ghana Police Service against the mentioned individuals. Now, we are also calling on the Inspector General of Police as part of his post-election actions to immediately arrest and investigate Chief Sofo Azoka, Alhaji Abdul Wahab, and any other person captured in the videos widely circulated in the media. The recklessness of the actions of Chief Sofo Azoka and Alhaji Abdul Wahab ought to be properly investigated and punished. And like I said, signed by Justin Frimpong Kodjo, who is the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party. And so it did not end here. After the release of this statement, what the party did was to now formally petition the Inspector General of Police, Christian Tetayuno, on this matters. They said if you also included the video evidence, so if the IGP says he's perhaps not seen it, they have provided the evidence for the IGP to look into the matter. That altercation was captured here. We all saw that altercation between Masaudu and then Chief Sofo Azoka. Now, the argument is that Masaudu might have used some words that triggered the action on the part of Sofo Azoka. The NPP says that regardless, this should not have happened, and especially with regards to the personalities involved in this. So this is the petition to the IGP. This first part talks about the incidents, including members of parliament. They say that, yes, indeed, there's been some level of, I would say, violence, but they say that the incidents, including members of parliament, they say that, yes, indeed, there's been some level of, I would say, violence, but they say that the incidents, including members of parliament, they say that, yes, indeed, there's been some level of, I would say, violence, but they say that the incidents, including members of parliament, they say that, yes, indeed, there's been some level of assault, and threats against the lives of Osahin Apenyomakin, as was contained in the earlier statement. So now let's look at some other details captured in this petition to the IGP and get to appreciate exactly what the NPP is demanding based on this. Now, they say that during the by-election, Chairman Azoka engaged in actions that threatened public safety, undermined the democratic process, and created an atmosphere of fear and intimidation. These are the two things they are talking about. And they say threats of violence. Now, in a widely circulated video from the by-election, Mr. Azoka is heard saying, and they quote what he said in Chi, relating to Apenyomakin, that if indeed Apenyomakin they were to meet him there would be a by-election in his constituency. And they say that this reckless statement unmistakably implied a threat to the life of Osahin Alexander Apenyomakin, who is minority leader in Ghana's parliament. And this was occasioned by some allegations of posters being pulled down at the party office of the NDC. But the NPP says in this petition to the IGP that Mr. Azoka himself admitted that upon his arrival, he was informed that nothing had been removed. Quite interesting. Now, the B part talks about physical assaults. And at the Akwatia polling station, you saw Chairman Azoka in that video verbally abusing and shouting on top of his voice at Alhaji Osman Masawudu, who is the third national vice chair of the NPP. Now, they say he forcefully pushed Alhaji Masawudu and had a brush on his face, particularly the nose, after which a member of Azoka's thugs slapped Alhaji Masawudu, as captured. And I remember yesterday when we played back that video, we actually mentioned that this was not something that should have been characterized, that should have characterized our election, because it marred the process totally marred the process, even though, it was generally peaceful until this happened, and then it took away from the beauty of the by-election, and also brings into question how our by-elections have always had an incident one way or the other. I can say that Tuesday's by-election was one of the most peaceful and not violent elections we've seen, because in the by-elections that we've seen so far, there've always been death, pelting of stones here and there. We didn't see any of those. But for this particular altercation between Alhaji Sofa Azoka, and then Alhaji Masawudu. So the NPP wants the IGP to take some immediate steps. Now, we'll get to that, because it says here that our complaint against the NDC's constituency communications officer for Buakwa North, Abdul Wahab Amadou, is that just like Chairman Azoka, he also threatened the lives of some leading members of the party while swearing by Allah. And it said the names of the people: Anodompre, Nanabi, Apenyomakin. He mentioned these people and swore by Allah. Quite interesting. And so they've attached this petition, a pen drive that contains all the recordings in support of the petition to assist the police. Now, the NPP is also submitting strongly that given the history and background of the persons involved, now this is where they also cite Chairman Azoka and say that when it comes to political thuggery in the country, he has a record. And they mentioned the NDC vigilante group, Azoka Boys, which was prescribed by law. Such wild threats coming from him cannot be taken lightly at all. And so this is what they want be done to Chairman Azoka. Now, this is what they are looking at. That there have been threats of harm, threat of death, assault, battery, offensive conduct. They've listed all these things. And so this is the action they are requesting. That they want a thorough and impartial investigation into the actions, into these matters, all of which border on commission of crime by members of the governing NDC during the Akwatia by-election. They want quick investigations. Now, the second point they want is to take appropriate legal action, including immediate arrest and prosecution of Chairman Azoka. His boy who slapped the NPP National Third Vice Chairman, as well as the NDC Constituency Communications Officer for Buakwa North, Abdul Wahab Amadou. They want all of them arrested. And let's go back. The third request of action they want is a public update on the progress of investigation to reassure Ghanaians of the commitment to upholding law and order. So this is what the MPP is seeking from the IGP. One, the immediate arrest, prosecution, and then investigation. And they say that they want a public update. The police service should update the public on the state of investigations into these concerns that they have raised. And so that is where we find ourselves after the Akwatia by-election. A very peaceful election, but was characterized by these pockets of incidents which the NPP says cannot be brushed under the carpet. They cannot sweep these under the carpet. So they want the police to take some immediate action. And one of the things that I also said yesterday that I think I need to reiterate is that in as much as we are commending the Ghana Police Service for a very peaceful electoral process, we also need to commend the people of Akwatia. The residents of Akwatia who decided that for this by-election, they are not interested in any form of violence. And so, in as much as we have seen these pockets, you realize that under no circumstance can anybody say that any resident of Akwatia was involved in any chaotic scene. But for the guy who says, people call him Kelvin Boy, who said that he had his you know, oh my goodness, his experience with the Black Maria. But for him, very, very few incidents. We cannot talk about the people of Akwatia being engaged in any form of violence. And so we need to salute them. And we need to salute the media, because the media was also on the grounds, and there was no point in time where the media was creating any form of fear and panic with our reportage. We have not seen anybody commend us, and so I will be the one to commend us. If they will not pat us on the shoulder, on our backs, we'll do that ourselves. The media, I want to say congratulations to all the journalists who were in Akwatia, who were in Accra, in every part of the country, and ensured that our reportage was devoid of any form of inflammatory comments and all of these things that usually incense people and get people to do things that they shouldn't do. The media conducted ourselves well, and for this one, kudos to all media men in Ghana who covered the Akwatia by-election. And of course, when we're talking about the job done by the guys on the grounds and in studio, we cannot go without talking about our coverage here at the EIB network. I mean, as for the verdict, it's out there. We distinguished ourselves. The most memorable interview, the most viral interview from Akwatia happened here on our platform. And the man who conducted that interview, I'm not sure if it's called Ochibefi to ask him questions after that interview. But he spoke to the IGP. Top. I keep telling people, top tier interview, because the questioning to the IGP were the exact questions that I had in mind in the studio. And so the man, Ibrahim Al-Hassan, who led the team on the ground in Akwatia, talk about Abdul Hanan Adam, Kodjo Ansa, a guy from Kasapa, Odifo. And then we also had Charles from Kasapa. We also had Jerry behind the cameras in Akwatia, and the man Eben. As for him, when we talk about him, he's synonymous to Fufu, and the guys who understand why. But Ibrahim Al-Hassan has joined me. Ibrahim, congratulations on the good job done in Akwatia.
Thank you.
And what should be if that was it?
Yes, So I spoke to him. In fact, the day of the elections, I spotted him. We met, we spoke. After the results, we actually spoke on phone, and of course, I realized that the heat was heating up, so to speak. And then the following morning as well, we spoke. Ochibefi did something that, if you followed politics very well, you understand. And so there were polls out there, specifically from Global Info Analytics, that the NDC is winning 3 days ahead of the by-election. You know what that does? What that does is that if there were people who were planning, contemplating on going to vote for the NPP, I say,
let me send me vote. Let me join the winning team.
Either that or let me stay home. Right. Good. How do you counter that politically, strategically? By putting something probably bigger on the line to convince people that, Charlie, with the win, so come and vote. But just that he probably chose the wrong thing to put on the line. You see? You could have said, I swear we will win.
Yeah.
You get it? You could have said many other things, right?
And I think the NPP has a penchant for putting things they shouldn't put on the line.
Exactly.
Because someone said he will burn himself.
Exactly.
We've not seen the burn.
Exactly. And I'm told that now the person is very cautious with his movement, right? But of course, these are political comments.
Right.
And of course, we discourage them. We discourage these political comments because they have ramifications and implications as well. Yes. But for Chibefi, yes, unprovoked. To be honest, so people have watched the interview and they cannot say that I set him up. I didn't.
Oh no, even Chibefi knows you did not set him up.
Exactly.
Nobody forced him to say that.
Exactly.
Mark my words.
That's the point.
Now we have marked the words.
Yeah, so now he says, oh, okay, you know what? Yes, I might have gone out of 10. I might have spoken in a way and manner I ought not to have done, right? But of course, I still want to be an MP. There's tension brewing in the constituency. There are people who are mobilizing to demonstrate, right? These are politics. So many people were sharing a flyer saying that, okay, there'll be a by-election there and what have you. From the very moment he uttered those words, I knew that nothing will happen. Because, see, if you've monitored elections, especially in swing constituencies, you'll not be surprised by the outcome. In fact, I'm surprised by the potency of the contest that Kwame Sumedu gave in Akwatia. We're talking about 3 years ahead of another elections. And you think the constituents will not think about the fact that, you know what, even if there's even distribution of the country's cake, and we are all getting some, the normal one is what we will get. But if you have an MP who belongs to the governing party, there could be something extra, some extra crumbs that can come to us. Even that is a defining moment enough for a voter. And we pick that from the grounds. Right? You also looked at the division within the MPP in the constituency. It's still not been mended. The Amase supporters, the Nesiakumi supporters, and many others.
Feel that there should have been a contest, not just
that's equally there.
A candidate that was put forward for them to just go ahead with. Because people feel that, well, if perhaps they had opened up the contest, Amase and the others who had interest would compete fairly, and then...
Yes, but they say that Amase being the candidate will have been worse. Because the people of Wenchi, where Neskumi hails from, the late Neskumi, are still not happy with the way and manner Amase supporters treated Neskumi.
Right.
So with her on the ballot paper, it will have meant that the strongest of hold of the NPP, which is in Wenchi, they will have also been a party there as well. So, and the reason why the party went for Kwame Sumedu is that he's a philanthropist, he's a businessman, he employs many people. In fact, I spoke to a gentleman who said that his family...
Applaud.
Exactly.
Come to
because of Kwame Sumedu. Because he employs people. So, it's a gamble. It just didn't pay off. And that's what politics is about. That's what politics... But he's not your typical politician. He's not your typical politician. Sometimes political parties are forced to make these decisions, these choices, thinking that it will pay off. Sometimes they don't pay off, right? You heard his comment. You could tell that there's a man that probably is cast in the same form as, say, Amase. Not your typical, fluent, outspoken politician. There's this video that's making viral where he goes to a place to engage the community members in front of a palace. And he talks about the fact that, oh, this place is very dark. I realize that there are no bulbs here. What happened to the bulbs? Oh, the bulbs are not functioning. Okay, I've ordered for 2 bulbs to be provided to you. And it's gone viral. And imagine your opponent feasting on this. Saying that you're voting for an MP who will give you 2 bulbs. You get a point? I was at a rally, a mini rally addressed by Kennedy Ohene Japan, where he spoke. And he used a Ghana word that we shouldn't repeat here.
You can't use.
Exactly.
It's not all back here.
You see that thing? That debate, how far? I left and I just came. Are you guys done?
We are not done.
Oh, okay. So Akwatia, I agree with you in commending the police. They over-prepared, but it was in our interest that they over-prepared for it. I think they should over-prepare for every other event that will come.
But there are some that are saying that, you know what, you deployed over 5,000 men. What was the cost of upkeep for one of those men? How much did we spend in terms of the police deployment to Akwatia? Is it worth it?
Can we quantify how much we will be losing if Akwatia was to go up in flame.
And the question again is, did you beef up based on intelligence?
For that,
or you decided just because this has happened here, let's go full force?
That's the intelligence you need. What other intelligence do you need? just put together the comments from the politicians. That's enough intelligence. You heard what they were promising to do to each other in Akwatia. So I think, and this is also supposed to be the very first test for the IGP. You don't expect him to bottle it, right? So to be honest, no amount of money will be much more than the peace and serenity that the people of Akwatia are enjoying now. In fact, when you engage the people, they tell you that the violent tag is a misconception. Yeah, they are violent when it comes to money, and that the only thing that speaks to them is money for Akwatia. And it's true that they don't joke with money at all.
Right.
That's why they are involved in mining. They just don't mine gold or diamond that the place is noted for. They mine gold as well. So for mining, yes. When it comes to looking for money, yes, they can be that aggressive.
But aside that,
yes. But of course, just
that
the history doesn't bear testimony to that fact. We all know about the 6 outstanding polling stations that brought Baba Jamal to Parliament. And what happened? Ballot snatching and what have you. So these are not just misconceptions about the place. History is replete with evidence of what that constituency is capable of doing. But this time around, they decide themselves creditably. Kudos. I always say that these happenings involving Azoka and many others, yes, the police must deal with them. And I'm talking about the issues that have been reported. But these are the spices for any election. You need them. An election cannot go without these spices. Yeah, but the police should do their way.
But these spices, I mean, clearly very unnecessary.
Oh, yes.
This one, very unnecessary. I think it would have been, and at least I am glad that it does not take away from the beauty of the election, the peaceful nature of the by-election, and the fact that we didn't have a lot to report. At the point, I remember being on air, you are wondering, okay, there's nothing to talk about.
That's the point. That's the point. And you see, interestingly, none of these incidents happened at the polling station.
Right.
So, for instance, they claim that some bodyguards tore NDC poster, right? And the subsequent swiftness with which Sofa Zoka came, when we engaged him, and he had mentioned that if he had met Afenyo, ABCD, blah, blah, blah. Yes, we could have done without those comments. And I've spoken to some people within the NDC who feel that entire episode was unnecessary. And the subsequent one as well, very unnecessary.
Highly unnecessary.
Very unnecessary. But I think the third vice, the initial altercation, of the MPP, the third vice of the MPP, the first year, he must be commended. Because if he had reacted, the story would have been different. He must be commended that he chose to restrain himself. Probably because he also knew about the implications, right?
And when you look at the video, you realize that at a point when Sofa Zoka confronted him, he was smiling.
Yes.
Because he thought it was a joke.
Yes.
So he realized that the thing is not joking.
And they are all from the same place, right?
Yeah.
So, and they understand each other, they know each other. Now, for Sofa Zoka to go ahead and say that he smells violent, he thinks and breathes violent. In subsequent interviews, he said that when he is going, he's just thinking violent. Oh.
But I mean, all in all, you guys did a great job on the grounds, because for the job that you did, and knowing that you had only about 5 men on the grounds doing everything there, it was highly commendable and amazing. And on your screens now, you see Masaudu.
Yes.
Yeah, now they explain. So far Zoka didn't try at all for him.
Yes.
Uncle Azoka, no force at all, because he was just granted an interview and mentioned his name, and then all of a sudden, Azoka comes, and then I'm glad it's muted, because the things that he said, I really don't want it played again. And you see that guy in the blue shirt, with the channel.
Yes.
Watch him closely.
Okay.
Watch him closely. You see what he did there, and that's what the evidence that the MPP says they've also presented to the IGP to look into the matter, because just when it was getting heated, he did something very terrible. Raised his hand, landed one on Masaudu, and I thought that was very unfortunate.
Yeah.
These are the things that, because Masaudu after this decided that, okay, fine, it was because I was not with my boys.
Yes.
If I were with my boys, he wouldn't have tried this. So now he
Exactly.
also beefed up with the boys. And we're just grateful that nothing untoward happened after this particular incident. And so, yes, Akwatia, Sasa.
Yes. Now they have an MP.
Yeah.
And when Parliament resumes, the MP will be sworn in. But I don't know whether there's a need for a crash course for politicians, some of them, probably not all of them, how to behave when the cameras are around. We said the same thing about the policeman who slapped Banahene, right? And I think the same will go for politicians. So you are behaving this way before cameras, in essence, before the entire world, and you think it's okay? So what justification will be given for your action? Absolutely. What explanation can you give? That your name was mentioned? Or what? Or you needed to do something? Because this is unnecessary. This is not even at the polling station. I can tell you that this didn't even have a single vote. Neither did they reduce a single vote from anybody's tally.
Okay.
But here we are.
Right. Anyways, Ibrahim, thank you so much. That's Ibrahim Al-Hassan, head of the political desk here, also leading the team in Akwatia. They are back now from Akwatia. But let's do sports. Jones ADZI joins us right after this. All right, so the Black Stars, we are preparing for our qualifiers and all of that. Jones ADZI is here. Charlie, what's happening?
Yesterday, I saw, eventually, our video got to Mr. Musa Danko.
Okay, because your flyer went viral.
Yeah, and he replied that he can't.
I told you.
And the boys are disappointed.
I told you.
The boys are sad.
His religion would not allow him to do that.
We are just saying that use the science and data and just tell us that it is likely that...
Or he should commission one of his people there who might not be Muslim.
Because, see, with these elections, I'm sure that someone would have also decided that if with the predictions he had given, and he will do something.
Okay. Anyways.
So, anyway. We'll be back with the Black Stars because, obviously, they are going to be in action today. And at 1 p.m., the Black Stars will be in action today. But let's remind you of how the table looks like as things stand now, because the Black Stars of Ghana, after 6 games played, we are first with 15 points. Comoros second with 12 points. Madagascar third with 10 points. Mali fourth with 9 points. The Central African Republic fifth, 5 points. Chad, who we meet today, have no points. Yes. They've not won a game. In fact, they've scored 1 goal.
Games.
They've scored 1 goal and conceded 15. So it tells you that, as for Chad here, it should be woto. Yeah. Just a formality. We should beat them.
And extend our goal difference.
Exactly. So if you want to understand what will happen at the World Cup qualifiers, in Group I, if you are first, you qualify automatically to USA, Mexico, or Canada. You won't play any playoff. But when you're second, then you qualify for another playoff. That will send you to another playoff, and we don't want that. So all we want to do is just be first, and then we go. So Chad today, Chad are boosted by the fact that they are going to be playing their first home game in this qualifiers.
Okay.
They've always played in Morocco. But then they have an AstroTurf and all that. We'll get to the AstroTurf because Coach Otuado has had a say on that. But then the last time we met, you see some of the highlights of that game. We also have a preview for you. Let's just preview that game. Chad taking on the Black Stars.
The Black Stars are back in action this week as they travel to Chad for their next 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier against Chad. Ghana heads into this clash full of confidence after sweeping aside Madagascar 3-0 in Morocco, with Thomas Partey scoring twice and Mohamed Kudus adding another. That result kept the Stars family in the race for top spot in the group. When the two sides met earlier in the campaign, Ghana was ruthless, a 5-0 Return fixture promises a different test. Chad will be at home, motivated to respond and eager to prove a point in front of their fans. For Ghana, there's a boost in squad depth. Derek Arthur adds fresh energy to the defense. They join experienced campaigners like Jordan Ayew, Thomas Partey and Mohamed Kudus, who remain central to Otuado's plans. Chad are winless in their last 10 official games, excluding friendly games, and are bottom of Group I with no point at all. The team has scored only 1 goal in their 6 games for the World Cup qualifiers. The team is, however, motivated by the completion of their 30,000 home stadium, where they will use it for the first time in an official FIFA-sanctioned game. The Lesau will be hoping to rely on their 37-year-old striker to upset the Black Stars at home. It is Chad versus Ghana, and another chance for the Black Stars to take a big step forward on the road to 2026.
Well, America, here we come. We're talking about that stadium. It's a new pitch for Chad, and they'll be using it for the very first time. And Coach Otuado has had his say on the pitch and says it is bad. It looks like concrete. It is too hard. And he's surprised that CAF actually approved it for an international game.
Actually, I'm surprised that CAF allowed this pitch for an international match. The pitch is really, really not good. It's very, very hard. So for the players, it's like playing on concrete. But yeah, what can we do? We have to take it as it comes. And we are prepared. We observed everything today. Like I said, it's not a good AstroTurf, to be honest. Nowadays, there are far more better AstroTurfs, which are also much more healthier for the players. We are excited, looking forward to that match. We know it's gonna be tough. To play away in Africa is always tough. Now, also under these circumstances, it will be different because the players are not used to play on artificial grass. But let's see. I think we are mentally prepared, and like I said, the boys look good and sharp on the pitch today. So yeah, I'm looking forward for this match.
So that game is at 1 p.m. today. The Black Stars of Ghana taking on Chad. And we'll try and bring you that live on Star 103.5 FM. Well, the GFA has come out and Ket Okreku and his people saying that, yes, they saw the press release from the Ministry of Sports, and they would also reply right after. So you remember that on Tuesday, the sports minister brought out the budget for the Black Stars, the estimated budget, and then the approved one. But then the GFA released a statement yesterday, and they say that they have taken careful note of statements made at the press briefing on Tuesday by the Sports Ministry. And as a custodian of Ghana football, the GFA will in due course provide clarifications to the issues raised. So they want us to support the Black Stars for now. After everything, then we'll talk about that Black Stars budget. Well, let's get to some basketball action yesterday at the LWAC Stadium. The BSA women beat the Aces to move up on the table in the Accra Division 2 Women's Basketball League. And then the Reformers, surprisingly, that is the game on your screens now, they beat the BSA to go out of the relegation zone. So for now, the Accra Basketball League will be on hold. They will be heading to Cape Coast for the Afashe Festival, Basketball Festival. And so that would be happening from Friday all the way to Sunday in Cape Coast. So when they're back, then we'll do some more basketball right here in Accra. And let's end off with some US Open. Yes, you see some results from yesterday and some of on your screens now. So Yannick Sinner are making it to the semifinals, beating Lorenzo Mures. Finals, Arena Sabalenka will take on Jessica Pegula. Surprisingly, we saw Iga Swiatek knocked out, and then of course the other semifinals would also see the likes of Yannick Sinner all in action, and the big one would be Alcaraz taking on his man Yes, Djokovic there. And then, of course, Naomi Osaka taking on Amanda Anisimova in there. All right, that should do it for the sports chat this morning. To join us on the game at 1 p.m. And then as we watch along, with that Black Stars game. And then there's live commentary on Star 103.5 FM and then on Kasapa FM as well. Saying a good morning to Mr. William Akron watching in Ho, far away in Ho. Yes, as well as... It's far.
Oh.
3 hours.
If I get angry and I'm using a proper car, 2 hours, I'll get to Ho.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mr. William Akron and Madam Victoria Akron watching. Medogbenao Kata. And my Hodome people, they're happy. I posted a video.
Right.
They're happy.
They're happy.
Yeah.
Ambassador for Hodome.
Yeah.
Akbar Maunayira.
Yo, Neira.
All right. Have a great day, my brother Jones, ADZI. Let's check out what the papers are reporting this morning. We'll start off with the Chronicle, with the BNFT. All right, so let's start with the Chronicle this morning. It says, after removal of CJ Tokonu, Mahama going after EC boss as well? That's the question the Chronicle is asking. There's also banker still 164,000 cedis from Access Bank. Police on manhunt for accomplices. This is happening quite a lot. Yesterday, we saw the story of the 25-year-old who we are told had stolen 343,000 cedis. And today, 164,000 cedis from Access Bank. Okay. MPP must collaborate as a family. That's according to Mr. GHOne on the front page there. And the scripture is from Romans chapter 12, verse number 19. Beloved, whoever avenges your... Okay. So it says... Let's check out the BNFT this morning. Inflation eases to 11.5%, eighth consecutive monthly drop, lowest since October 2021. There's also 7 livestock breeding stations up for repair, and CPC's 50% share price jump, blip or sign of recovery. And for the economy, solid rise in new orders as prices continue to fall. The Ghanaian Times says President inspects of Ankonsawam road project. Contractor says June 2026 deadline. Says 75% of work complete. Yeah, yesterday on my way home, I saw the President's entourage coming from that location. Also, inflation eases to 11.5% in August, lowest in 4 years, according to the Statistical Service. Akwatia MP-elect pledges focus on constituency development and deliver judgment in my favor. Former CJ is praying the ECOWAS court there. The Daily Graphic says analysts laud order at Akwatia by-election call for sustainable process. President demands firm 2026 deadline for Ofankor and Sawem Road. And thieves vandalize Obechebi interchange. Quite disturbing there. The Daily Guide is reporting Yoko picks up Kofi Akpalu. We heard of that yesterday. We heard he was picked up in Kumasi. As to why he was picked up, we're yet to get further particulars on that. Who leaked my in-camera hearing? Sophia Kufu fumes there. NPP calls for Chief Azoka Alhaji Wahab's arrest. And Ofankor and Sawem road deadline stands according to President Mahama. So second quarter of 2026, that road project should be completed. Akwatia by-election doesn't reflect 2028. The NPP's General Secretary Justin Kodjo is captured as saying on the front page of the Daily Guide. While you're still watching GH Today here on GHOne television with me, Joshua Kodjo Mensah, we'll take a breather. When we return, our guests will be seated and then we'll get into the conversations. Do stay. Well, thank you so much for staying on with us here on GH Today. Now, this is the Breakfast Review segment, and my guest already will be getting into the details of the conversations that have been raging. Akwatia by-election clearly will feature. We'll also talk about the removal of the CJ and the president's lifting on the ban of sale of state lands. We'll get into the conversation shortly. But my guest this morning, Richard Ahiagba, he is Director of Communications for the New Patriotic Party. I also have Hamza Suini, who is a private legal practitioner and a member of the NDC's communications team. We've also been joined by Solomon Owusu, who is with the Movement for Change. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. I hope you're all doing well.
Quite well.
Richard, let me start with you. I don't know why Hamza is excited already. Akwatia by-election, it did not go the way the New Patriotic Party wanted. What didn't work for you?
Well, good morning to your viewers, to my brother Suini and Solomon. I think Akwatia by-election didn't go, obviously, the way we anticipated and planned for. And obviously, Hamza is excited or happy because they won. They won, and to a very large extent, would congratulate them. I think the results, though we have concerns, we congratulate them for the victory. Notwithstanding our questions, I want to thank the good people of Akwatia, the party, the constituency party, the regional party, the national party, for a very spirited campaign. But what went against us, clearly, was the NDC's strategy to create a tense environment in Akwatia. Their passive-aggressive campaign that they mounted, seeking to create some psychological fear in the people.
How did they do that?
The messaging, I'll get to that. The messaging was aggressive in nature, dangling development in front of the people as though there was an option for the government to choose intentionally not to develop Akwatia, except they vote for their candidate. These are matters that came to a head, and obviously the benefit of power, that they hold the purse and they can allocate resources one way or the other to benefit or to disadvantage the people of Akwatia. And they used that rather aggressively. And rationally, people felt that the NDC was clearly warning them from their national chairman, who indicates that, look, concessions that is held by people can be taken from them and allocated to you. And if these are anything to go by, then we should rationally choose which way to go. And this is what I mean by the passive-aggressive effort to get people to vote in a way that does not necessarily reflect their conscience. If they were allowed, the environment was rather congenial and fair, and they, as citizens, were in charge in their destiny in making a rational decision, they would have chosen otherwise. But then they are being coerced strategically to choose a certain direction. Otherwise, you suffer a lack of development. Hamza is a lawyer, and in their practice, that to be getting the person to testify under duress, getting people to vote in Akwatia under duress, because if they don't, they are not going to get development. Faced with that proposition, what do you do? All right, and coupled with the violence that they engineered, with their the second vice national chairman, someone who I admire, as an elder, except for his politics, is a little bit not what he ought to reflect. He's come a long way. He's a national figure, like him or hate him. He continues to be the epitome of violence in our politics. I don't think that that's befitting of him, and I think that Sofo Azoka need to revise his ways. What he did the last time, and I'll be interested if Hamza can explain what he was telling Masaudu in Dagbani, so we can hear, because I've been paying my attention to the language for a long time, and some of the things he was saying were very troublesome, one that I cannot say on air, but he said them nonetheless. And that aggression, unprovoked aggression, contributed to the entire tense environment the NDC was sponsoring from day one. And that, by and large, went into people's processing of what they do on the day. Should I go and vote or not go and vote? And I think that affected turnout, and that really affected our prospect, which is the reason, I suppose, we didn't do as well as we thought.
But there were polls out already that indicated that the NDC indeed was going to win with over 50%, 53%, and that was before any of these incidents happened.
You know, that poll is also part of the conspiracy or the grand propaganda, because it was released strategically to influence public perception of what the outcome is likely to be. And so it has a potential of indicating to a voter in Akwatia who lives in Kofodia or Asamankese or in Accra or the surrounding areas, to say that, you know what, I don't think that it's worth me going to vote if this poll is saying that NDC is winning, which is a psychological effort by the NDC and Musa Dankwa to shape public perception and understanding of the election. So for me, it's neither here nor there as far as what he found, but the impact really is how it's able to determine people's reaction, whether or not to go and vote or not to go and vote.
Right.
And so that, for me, is part of the NDC's grand agenda. Mind you, Musa Dankwa is an NDC pollster. Hamza will not agree, but that's what it is, plain and simple.
That's how you see it.
That's what it is. They can quibble about it, but there's not a point to argue because they're never going to come to a point where they agree. It's a parallel situation. We'll keep going till one person say, I won't go anymore. But that's a fact. There's an NDC pollster. Somehow, the media got roped in. Anytime it says all these cooked up stuff, it is discussed as though it's the only poll in town.
But at least
so that's
his results have shown and in elections, and so
which results? Which results?
The latest one being Tuesday.
It's fine. So I'm just saying that it's an NDC post. I'm not going to debate whether his poll is proven to be this or that. But the truth of the matter is that a lot of things conspired against our loss.
Right.
But then, of course, we take in our strides. There's concerns that are coming this morning. We're submitting a petition, myself, leading my directorate, was submitting a petition to the IGP on the misconduct of our father, our senior brother, Sofo Azoka. And then the communication officer, on their misconduct there. There are other matters that our legal directorate is reviewing, on the basis of which we'll proceed with further petitions or not.
Okay.
But clearly, we understand what has happened. It's strengthening our resolve in focusing on the rebuilding effort. It's shown us things that we can continue to work on, and things that we need to really sit and address. So it's for us, whether win or lose, there are takeaways for us, and I'm happy that as a party we are taking in our stride, and then we're going to put our hearts together and fight again another time.
Okay, Hamza said you hoodwinked the people of Akwatia. You basically engineered how they should vote in the by-election.
Joshua, good morning again. And good morning to my colleagues in the studio, and of course your production team and our cherished viewers out there. Yes, I listened to my brother Richard, and his lamentations are expected, especially after every defeat. And many of them, we can pardon it because I think that they are still going through that healing process that is necessary before they go back and take stock of what actually caused their defeat, not just in Akwatia or Ablekumanov, but even in the last general election. They are yet to recover from the humiliating defeat they suffered and continue to suffer, even in the life of this government. So his lamentations and many of his colleagues, quite understandable. But you see, Josh, we are dealing with a political party that is the National Democratic Congress that from the word go indicated our readiness this time round to avert the mistakes of the past. We started building a machinery that was actually responsive to the needs of modern trends when we lost the 2016 election. Remember, we did not go about blaming each other unnecessarily. When our committee did their investigations and brought their report, we went straight to work because we knew that the task ahead of us was onerous. And there was the need for us not only to convince ourselves that we were capable, but most importantly to the Ghanaian people, that this was a political party that had learned useful lessons both in government and in opposition, and is now targeting a trajectory that would bring comfort not only to its grassroots, but to the Ghanaian people at large. We did not embark on this petty journey of lamentations as a political party. And so the NPP must learn from the history of the NDC, especially after the 2016 general election, and know that they are not dealing with the NDC of 1992 or 2000. They must know that they are dealing with a political party that took time to rebrand and position itself to continue to be able to win general elections. That is my first advice to him. You see, if you look at the preparations before Akwatia, we discharged ourselves in ways that many of you in the media would commend us for. In fact, the IGP, because we promised a reset, the IGP was the first to lead the charge by assuring the good people of this country that for the first time he seeks to leave a legacy in terms of the way we run our by-elections in a way we all can be proud of. He engaged the political parties. He engaged the Electoral Commission. He engaged stakeholders who have roles to play in our electoral processes. And he made direct references to IDEC and the likes. And made clear the plan of action as far as the Ghana Police Service was concerned. When the NPP walked out of that meeting, the first media interview granted was their national organizer, who threw tantrums and proceeded to say that the NPP would protect itself in Akwatia. So by that interview, they had succeeded in once again watering the grounds for violent rhetorics and eventual violence in Akwatia. As if that was not enough, their Deputy General Secretary told the whole world, the whole country, that they were going to build what? Cells around their NPP members and ensure that they are protected because they do not trust the systems and Ghana Police Service. Nobody was talking violence. It was the MPP that started talking violence in Akwatia. I thought we had had enough. My own good brother, seated here with us, Richard Ahiagba, Director of Communications of the MPP, decided to take the nation on a psychological, needless journey when he addressed a press conference from their head office and made unsubstantiated allegations that national security was being used by the NDC to intimidate, or we are planning to use national to intimidate voters and cause mayhem in Akwatia. But at the time he was addressing the press conference, he forgot that the NDC is not like the NPP. And that when they use national security men like Double and Co., clad in national security uniforms and vehicles, and assaulted the innocent people of Ayaosu West Wagon. Shots were fired. Members of parliament were beaten in broad daylight in national security apparatus. They thought that perhaps, maybe that history confused his memory, and he thought that we're going to pay back. So their conduct set the stone for violence. Alhaji Masahudi he is talking about was the first person who started beating the war drums. And he did not just do that even in relation to Akwatia alone. This is a gentleman or a man who had indicated to the whole nation that his claim to fame was violence and violent rhetorics. In their own party headquarters, he decided to throw away a microphone belonging to a media house violently and threatened to assault the reporter of that particular media house. As if that was not enough, when we lost our fallen heroes, and they came to commiserate with the National Democratic Congress at our head office, so the said gentleman attempted again taking away a microphone belonging to the TV station to throw. It was Asiedun Ketia, our general secretary. I'm telling you about the violent prone nature. You will see the connection. We had to intervene. Our national chairman had to intervene to stop that reckless and violent prone behavior of Masahudi. So before Akwatia, this guy had set the stage for violence with their violent rhetoric. And look at all over the world. Even the likes of Zimbabwe, what brought about their civil unrest and conflicts? It was because of reckless commentary by those who have had the privilege of sitting next to a microphone. And look at political violence across the world. It is because of what political actors say that precedes this violence or that births it. But compare the posture of the National Democratic Congress throughout our preparations for Akwatia. It was about numbers, it was about data, it was about focusing on the goal of winning the elections. So they were engaged in a charade because they are in a campaign mood. My brother probably wants to be elected as a National Executive Committee member of the New Patriotic Party. So to them, it was not just about Akwatia. It was about exciting their party base and assuring to them that I have you at heart. So in truth, they were engaged in personal pursuit of their electoral chances, not to win the Akwatia seat for the MPP. That is why you saw National Organizer on his own tangent, trying to give assurance. You saw the Deputy Secretary also throwing tantrums, and my own brother here. It was about catching the space, media space, so that they could reach...
So the MPP was not focused on Akwatia?
Absolutely not. It was about catching the media space so that they could reach their delegates on the ground, preparing for the next contest. That was all it was.
Because the accusation is...
At the time my brother was addressing the press conference, he had not even stepped foot in Akwatia.
You were threatening residents of Akwatia of depriving them of development.
I will get there. I will get there. You see, so this is the political party we are dealing with. They caused their downfall. Nobody caused it for them. They did. When we were in Akwatia campaigning, these are the gimmicks they were engaging. And I'm not surprised the likes of Solo decided to abandon that political tradition. Because it has lost complete focus. Complete focus. You accuse us of threatening voters with votes. They are discerning Ghanaians out there. The people of Akwatia are responsible people. They know a government that can demonstrate commitment to their development. If they see the government, they know.
But your candidate admits that it was part of the messaging.
What was part of the messaging?
That promising people of Akwatia development if the NDC's candidate...
But what is wrong with that? That is the essence of democracy. If you cannot assure the people that as a parliamentary candidate, I'll bring you development, why should they vote for you?
Precisely because his party is in power.
It doesn't matter. But the most important thing is that every parliamentary candidate, even in MPP, the MPP candidate who was campaigning, was assuring the people development. But the NDC is not like Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who would tell an entire constituency that I refuse to bring you development because you didn't vote for my preferred candidate as sitting president.
Right.
The NDC is not like the NPP.
Right.
So we would not behave like them.
Okay.
And you need to appreciate that difference, Josh. And look, as for the NDC, we made promises. And we are intending to keep those promises to the good people of Akwatia. Because we do not want to go back there in 4 years. And they would ask us, when we gave you our seat, what did you do with that mandate?
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong if we take development to the good people of Akwatia.
Okay.
And you see, finally.
Yes, you need to learn from, so I bring Solo into the
Finally,
conversation.
about you gave him enough time.
come
My
on.
brother will talk.
You've done 10 minutes already.
Finally, Josh, you see, when I listen to, since yesterday, I have been scanning through the media stations and listening to the NPP national executives. Solo, God bless you for the stance you took, because I got scared even more listening to them.
Why?
They still do not appreciate the enormity of the crisis they find themselves. They are focusing on needless things when in actual sense, they should be focusing on the level of crisis that they have been able to drive themselves into.
What are the needless things they are focusing on?
You see, Josh, at this stage, the NPP should be interested in the effect of the unfortunate legacy of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia on the fortunes of the party. For 8 years in opposition, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia had one motive: to kill every form of dissent within the politics of the new patriotic party and take charge. The likes of my brother seated here aided that process. And by 2016, Nana Addo had become the alpha and omega of the politics within the new patriotic party. Indeed, it is the reason why that from 2017 to 2020, no NPP person was able to lift a finger against Nana Addo or any of his appointees. So he had a field day to do as he pleased with the political party called NPP. And in the process was destroying not only Ghana, but destroying the NPP.
Right.
By 2023, a few of them in parliament mustered courage and came out demanding the removal from office of Ken Ofori-Atta. That system Nana Addo used 16 years to build. They ensured that they used that same system to campaign against many of these parliamentary candidates and ensure that they lost their seats, to entrench that lack of dissent within the politics of the NPP. So what we have today as a new patriotic party is actually an extension of Nana Addo's wishes and desires, not a political organization.
Okay.
And they must go back to history and begin to work to take the party away from the unfortunate conscientization and legacy of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. That should be their focus.
So let me bring into the conversation. The outcome of the election, was that what you thought was going to happen?
Absolutely. Let me greet you. I was very surprised to hear the NPP initially saying that they were going to win, because the happenings on the ground didn't support that position. And let me also say that the elections of Akwatia, the NPP took it more serious than the NDC, because the NPP needed it to, as it were, rejuvenate the party. And it's the reason why they positioned the 1 week observation of the demise MP 2 or 3 days to the election. It's the reason why the former president, Nana Akufo-Addo, the former vice president, Mahmoud Bawumia, the former chief of staff, Akosua Frema-Opare, the acting national chairman of the party, the general secretary, what's the name, the organizer, the leader of the party in parliament, and anybody that mattered in the party went to Akwatia to campaign. Because for them, the party is going down so fast that if they do not take care, December will not even reach for the party to totally collapse. And so they took it very serious. But in taking it very serious, they got strategy, they got everything, messaging, execution wrong. Because the base of the party has been collapsed. And so they went from Accra, imposed their message on the people of Akwatia. All politics are local. You cannot, things that are needed in Akwatia cannot be the same things needed in Accra. So they went there wrong-footed, and then they were beaten to it. This whole Akwatia business also brings to fore the campaign message that recently has popped up, Akana. I don't know where it is coming from. Because the principle of Akana is that they already have existing votes. The last votes are already there.
Constant.
And so they need a top-up. If that was anything to go by, what it meant was that the MPP didn't need to even campaign in Akwatia, because Akwatia, they already had majority of the votes. And so if for anything, they either maintain or add on. It tells you that Akana, whoever brought it.
But you know it's not a reflection of the entire party.
It's the entire party. Have you seen any?
It's just one camp.
But that camp is the party. Who told you there is another party anyway?
Oh, no, there are different camps.
Are you kidding me, Joshua?
There are different people who want to lead the party. You can't tell me Akana Impe is a true reflection of the entire NPP.
Jesus Christ from Nazareth. Did you read Engineer Adenimo's reasons for withdrawing from the party? Reason number 2, he says a deliberate scheming and skewing of the whole process in favor of one particular candidate. That's a party.
And who is that candidate?
Oh, that is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. That one, you know it. You don't have to refrain from it. So it defeats that whole principle of Akana. It means that political parties must always start every election from ground zero. Work your way out. Then does it not strike you? What was the message of the MPP vis-a-vis the NDC? I listened to both parties and I realized that the NPP didn't have a message. Their only message they had was that someone had died, and based on that, the person that should replace him must come from the same family. I listened to the candidate. The candidate said if a breakthrough person dies, it has to be a breakthrough person that replaces him. By extension, if an MPP person is gone, it has to be an MPP. Is this a message? How does this message put food on the tables of the many teeming youth in Akwatia? How does it solve the unemployment problem? How does it deal with the infrastructure deficit in Akwatia? So there wasn't any message. Now, I heard the former flag bearer of the party also, and that was what got me shocked. That he was alluding to the fact that the death of Ernest Kumi was actually occasioned by the NDC. Why was it the case? Is that, they took him to court. I never, if someone takes you to court, it means the person is killing you. Why they took John Mahama to court in 2012, 2013, were they intending to kill him? No. I rather prefer someone who behave in a civilized manner. I disagree with you. I will not pick up arms. I will not pick up machete or whatever. But I rather seek redress with the appropriate institution. So if someone goes to court, that does not mean that the person wants to kill. In fact, if there was any group of people that killed Ernest Kumi, then we have to blame the MPP.
The MPP.
When the matter was in court, they forced the guy to be sworn in as a member of parliament. You remember that day? I wish we have to be playing back those tapes. When the clerk of parliament read it more than thrice, that are you sure you want to, as it were, be sworn in spite of the court case? I remember the then majority leader, Atuforsen, also asked the gentleman, that are you prepared to go with the consequences of your actions? Then we heard Afenyo stand up and say, yes, they are adults, they know the law, they are fully minded of the consequences of their actions. And so Ernest Kumi has to be sworn in. Well, you know, in this country, after that, they left the guy to his fate. He was going home chasing his own shadows, had to be hiding here and there. So if anybody brought pain to the guy's life, then the person that, or the group of people that we have to blame has to be the MPP and not the NDC as they want to create that impression. So they lost the election square and fell. They didn't go to the field with any tangible campaign message. I was expecting them, having been in power for all these years, to pinpoint the sort of developments that they took to Akwatia. For instance, if you were the flag bearer in the last election, and by extension, the vice president. You should have been able to point to the roads, the hospitals, the schools, the employment that you generated for the area, based on which the people must vote for you. But if you decide to go, stay away from that message and say, oh, because the NDC took him to court, you must vote against. That means you didn't do anything. And why must they vote for a party that even when it was empowered, did nothing for them, and then deny the incumbent party? So, a message, and the personality of the candidate himself. The two candidates clearly, Bernard Bediako stood tall. He came across as someone that had the people of Akwatia at heart, that had a plan. You must always have a plan.
Why Kwame Asumadu didn't come across like that?
No, at a point, Kwame Asumadu himself was telling us that, Kumi Wahami, didn't you hear him? That you have left me all these people to take care of. You haven't become even the MP. You were already crying that the people were many. Hey, when I heard him say that, I said, Christ in me, the hope of glory. It is done. So the two of them, the people of Akwatia, they have done what is right. I mean, it was not going to change anything in Parliament in any way. In the case, if the NDC had lost, neither if the NPP had won was going to change it. It was for bragging rights. And the NPP rather needed this so badly to tell the people of this country that, look, we lost the election of 2024 was a fluke. But with what has happened, it does appear that it is not the case. Now you come to the security arrangement.
Yeah.
You see, when you see, anytime you see a political party major in the minors, it means they just want to, as it were, create the impression that, but for any confusion, they would have won the elections. As we speak, I am here to cite any document or hear from Masaudu that he himself has reported the matter to the police.
No, he mentioned to us that he's actually reported.
Oh, then that's fine.
Yes.
So then what is the petition again? Because it's a crime. If you go and attack someone, it's criminal in nature. So then all that the party has to do is to make sure that they provide you with the legal assistance to push the case. You understand?
Of the MPP.
Yeah, man, people want to take over and
somebody's
they are moving beyond just
they want to
Masaudu.
take political capital out of it.
They are moving beyond just Masaudu. They are indicating the threats on the lives of Apanyo Makin.
Yeah, that was wrong. That was wrong, and I also believe that. Yes, that was wrong. I mean, I would not come and sit here and say that the threat on the lives of Apanyo are not on praise. No. Yes, it's not right. But the truth of the matter is that we were in this country that Afenyo slapped or attacked the police officer. You are in this country.
That's not true. I was standing right there.
What happened? What happened? Did he push him?
It's not true.
So he pushed him.
It's not true.
Which one is not true?
He didn't even touch the guy. It's not true.
So what happened?
We all watch it.
No. You could go to a stadium, and you will not see. You will not have the benefit of replay. You will not have the benefit of replay. We all watch it.
Didn't you watch it? Hamza, this one I'll be very plain and clear with you. I was standing right there.
And nothing happened.
I have given statement to the police on this matter.
Yes.
They have seen videos of it. He didn't.
That is your version.
I mean, because that's the only version.
No, you cannot do
That's the only version because I was standing right there.
Who appointed you the Minister of Truth this morning? Nobody has appointed you.
I am telling you that.
What he's saying is that he was there, and do you believe for a moment that Ahiagba will go and testify against his minority leader?
Absolutely not.
What are you talking about here?
No, but I'm telling you that. Well,
you believe what he said?
You may have difficulty in believing in my principle, but I am not one. If you looked at the space, I am not one to jump in front of things that I don't.
But I saw it. I also saw the video.
Okay,
you see,
no, go with your
narrative. Who sit behind
but don't be so conclusive in the way you are reporting.
No,
because you were not there. You are seeing third. Yeah.
So the truth of the matter is that matter is also pending. Yes. In the same way, they are very eager to see to the conclusion of this whole situation in Akwatia, which I believe that there has to be a conclusion to it. Right. You can't threaten anybody like that. You can't handle any human being because of politics. Afenyo's matter must also be dealt with.
It's in the hands of the police. We have made our representation.
And that's why they are also petitioning the police. And
so that's why I said that it is in the hand of the police. Right. And so this one is also in the hands of the police. So why are they petitioning again? Because Masaudu has already reported the matter to
police. But they are
police.
raising other concerns, not just...
Which one is the concern?
The Nanabi issue.
But Nanabi must report. Nanabi is a lawyer.
Masaudu did not
look,
report
the people involved. Nana B is a
So
lawyer.
is it wrong for the political party to say that this is what has happened to our members and so we are petitioning the police?
No, but I believe that the individuals might take the first step. That if they want to issue statement, that's fine. What else are they going to do? Did they issue a petition to buttress the fact that the police officer was attacked by...
but they were not there in their personal capacities. They were there because of the party.
No, but it affected the individual.
Yes.
Crime happens to an individual. And in the same way, Masaudu, he went there in the name of the party, yet he himself has gone to the police to report it. So I believe that Afenyo and the rest must also do the needful, report the matter. We want our politics to be, as it were, civil. It's not a matter of going into a campaign and then beating. Why must it be violent?
Yeah.
But all in all, let us also not create the impression that there was violence in Akwatia.
There was no violence.
The people lost fair and square. They must not be allowed to shroud this whole beautiful defeat into a matter of our second national chairman or first national chairman was attacked. No way.
But the NPP, to be fair to the party, they are not blaming...
That's what they are doing.
They are not blaming the loss on...
Josh,
what so far...
That is what they have been doing. This morning, you asked my brother what really caused their defeat. He just danced around the tune and quickly came into the arena of our second vice or third vice was attacked. That was where he expended his energy to tell you that they are even petitioning the IGP. And you know what is going to flow from that? After petitioning, then they'll have all the media houses capture that event. So we will be running with the event of Azoka and Masaudu and then negate the fact that someone won a legitimate election which has affected the party.
Right. Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
So let us congratulate the winner, congratulate the police, congratulate the National Democratic Congress, and wish the new patriotic party, well, like my brother said, the party structures have been collapsed. It's non-existent. The earlier they took a second look at this top-down approach, which has also been defeated, the way and manner they have monetized the party. What was the basis of settling on Asumedu? Because he had money. That was the only reason.
That is your reading?
Absolutely. That was the only reason they settled on him. And this party, at least to the extent that I know the party, before I left it, maybe their character have changed, it was never about money. How is it that people want to contest on the ticket of the party as flag bearers? They are mandated to pay 4.6 million. Josh, does it sit well with you? 4,600,000, or better still, 46 billion, 46. That someone must go and pack this money before he leaves a political party. If this was the way this party started in 1992, do you think GHOne would have been the president of would have been able to leave because he had Kodjo, he had nothing? The good professor, a lecturer, how much is a lecturer paid? Would he have been able, Professor Dubois, have been able to lead this party? It got to these people and everything is about money, whatever they say, I have money. The sinners, I have money. What is this business of money creeping into our body politic like that?
Well, so we need to take a quick break. When we come back, Richard Ahiagba would have the floor. This is still GH Today here on GH1 Television. We're right back after this. We are still live here on the Breakfast Review segment of GH Today on GH1 Television. My guest still in studio, Richard Ahiangba, Director of Communications for the NPP. Hamza Sunyini here is a private legal practitioner and also a member of the NDC's communications team, and Solomon Owusu, who is with the Movement for Change. Before the break, we heard from Solo also his thoughts on Akwatia and the conduct of the by-election. But Richard, quite a number of issues coming up here. Let me give you the floor to address any of those concerns.
Yeah, thank you much. I think I just want to make some initial comment on one or two things that Hamza and my brother Solo have said. Solo has not left the New Patriotic Party. He's pretending.
He's not left?
Oh.
He says he's left. So that way, and it's not with the NPP.
The point I want to make, Solo, clearly in Akwatia, we didn't impose a message from national, impose a message on the constituency. The campaign was led by the constituency. A committee was put together, chaired by the former chairman of the party, Mark Menu, and very distinguished individuals to guide the process. And they started work in earnest from arriving at the candidate and setting the tone and the infrastructure for the election. It was constituency driven. It was regional party supported. The national party only went there to support the effort. So the national party didn't lead the process, not even the regional party. It's a committee and the constituency that drove the campaign. Also for Hamza, Hamza, don't gloat. The NDC has been through worse, to where young people, okay, were poking their founder in the face, okay? The former president is GHOne Rawlings in the face. So the NDC has been through worse and is fixing to go through even worse in their internal primary elections. And Hamza knows that. We will not gloat at their misfortune, but clearly, I need to make the point. The New Patriotic Party is resolute. We are together and we are working on deepening that togetherness. There are challenges, which challenges result from internal contests. By nature of elections, internal elections, they're adversarial, okay? Elections, by its design, is adversarial because you're trying to promote yourself. I'm trying to promote myself for purposes of attracting some support. And in that limited space, especially internally, a lot of, stepping on each other occurs. And what we're going through is nothing unprecedented. It's a normal occurrence in any competitive space. And so my understanding of the situation is different. Of course, Hamza is exaggerating it for his own political comfort. But we in the New Patriotic Party, we are clear in our minds that this internal election is designed to select the best amongst us of the 5 that have put themselves up for this selection process. Right. And that at the end of the day, the best individual will be arrived at, and all of us will rally behind that individual for
So Solo raises the question of monetization, like you've monetized the process so much, make it so expensive for persons to lead the New Patriotic Party.
Well, you can't say that in isolation. I mean, our whole politics is monetized, right? And if you're saying that just because the context is appropriate, if you go to Akwatia, okay, one of the things that played against us was the NDC busily sharing money. We're busily sharing money. 1,000 at one hand, 500 at the other, houses that they were doing 200 per person. There's a community we went to on the heels of our departure. The NDC swooped in there with a bag of money, 200 per person. It was a community of 60, 70 people, right? The NDC was dishing out, the new notes were dishing it out, like hot potato, and the people were taking it. And so our entire political...
Take a video of it.
Well,
you take a video of it.
I don't know if there's any video of it, but I'm giving.
No, but you said you were there. You were there. So I'm asking,
I didn't
a
say,
politician would not see something like that.
No, I didn't say. I'm saying that on the heels of our departure, because the people told us, they gave us the account.
So it's the people that told
They
you?
told us.
But you did not see that?
We're not there.
So
we had
that
left.
they took
I
the
said on the
money.
heels of our departure, you came to share the 200, having the 1,000
And you had no
and the
MPP
500.
person there to take evidence of it for you people.
Mensah, the point is that you did it. You know the budget you went to Akwatia with, you didn't come back with anything. You expended all of it.
So your mother party is not learning.
They
are not learning.
That's okay. The truth of the matter is that as we look at Akwatia and the matter of monetizing our politics, it's a thing that we have to look at. Right. It's actually injurious to democracy. It's injurious to free choice. Because if I vote for Solo because he's a presidential candidate for a particular party, in this case, MPP. Okay.
No, movement for change, please. No. Don't let Richie start
Let me tell you, once MPP, always
No.
MPP. This pretentious thing.
He says it's
we will grant amnesty to him.
He's impetuous.
Because our party is coming. He's my brother. I will not let him go.
He's in limbo. He's in limbo. All right. He's in a political limbo. He will come back.
You go all with your business. Let me be with my movement business.
So my point is that, making money part of the electoral process actually distorts the significance and the sacredness of the choice. That is the burden that is put on us as citizens to select somebody rationally who can help us. So that when I go to vote for someone because he'd given me money, what it means is that that person may not necessarily be the best fit for the job we're looking for somebody to do for us. And so what would be the consequence of that? Non-performance. Okay, entitlement, because for whatever it's worth, he paid for it. You understand? And you cannot tell that person to do A, B, C, D because he didn't tell you what he was going to do. He gave you money. And if at minimum, what he can do is to give you money back, right? For the disruption and the non-performance. So really, it'll affect the progress of our country. The outcome that we're seeking from democracy. You know, the choice of democracy against military rule is a proposition that the democratic processes will give us more development as opposed to a military rule or any other form of government. And so if we have corrupted, or as a country, this is not an MPP issue, it's not an NDC issue, it's a national matter. Even in national elections, people are asking for money before they vote. We, the political parties, okay, hurry ourselves in setting up operational arrangements to bus people from here to there when people are going to register, which is their responsibility because they are availing themselves to possess the legal right to be able to participate in that sacred exercise of selecting who leads the country. And in doing that, we, the political parties, fund that process. And the question is, why are we doing that? So we create an incentive for people to want to demand money. So the process that he's referring to, that in our party, people are paying 4.6 million. I don't know about 4.6 million. The process for the electoral, internal electoral process for primaries, it's for you to pick up the nomination form at 100,000, 500 in filing. These monies don't go to anybody's pocket. It is to manage the process of that election. And so that's what it is. Right. So if we're sitting here in this studio, and you're saying that, okay, well, because ABCD is happening, as I told you, and you know that we have to fix that problem, and you say, bring 100, and you say, oh, well, that'll give us 400. But 400 is not enough to fix the problem. Right. So we'll levy additionally that because you are the host, pay maybe 20 cedis more. Because I am the guest from MPP, we don't have money, so I pay 5 cedis. And then Hamza, from government, okay? So he pays 100 cedis. It is not against, I mean, for him, from Movement for Change, of course, the affinity.
You just left power with a lot of cash.
Your bank account.
A bank account, dollars.
No problem.
Euro.
But you can check my bank account. Now what we know is that the NDC is just good about collecting in the name of corruption and all of that, collecting people's bank account and looking through without warrant and all that stuff. We know about those things. So you can collect.
You've not reported.
I can volunteer.
If this is done,
You don't hide it in the bank.
It's under the bed.
all right,
Keep it at home.
all right, gentlemen, just hold on for me.
Let me just conclude for you.
Okay,
I don't have a
briefly.
bed in my
So
house.
I go to
just so
Zoom
you
because
know.
Bernard Bediako is on Zoom to join us.
Okay, just
Perfect,
briefly,
yeah,
just briefly.
right.
So the point I am saying is that, the MP elect.
Yes, the MP elect.
Oh,
is
MP
joining us.
elect is
Yes.
creating problems already. Yesterday, I decided not to respond to him. But
Briefly.
the point I want to say is that matter must be a national issue.
Okay.
Of trying to find a way to demonetize our politics. It is essential, it is necessary, it is actually existential if you look at the survival of our democracy. If you continue with that, this democracy will not survive.
Absolutely. Well, let's get on Zoom now. Bernard Bediako Beidu is joining us, MP elect for Akwatia. Congratulations on the win and welcome to the show. I hope you're doing well.
Thank you. I'm doing fine. Yourself?
I'm okay. And so, right. So, Bernard, if we just reposition your Zoom for us, just rotate your camera so that the good people of Ghana can also get to watch you this morning as we have the conversation on your electoral win and what the residents of Akwatia. Right. So, Bernard, just stand in the opposite way for me. Just stand in the opposite way, in the opposite direction. Yes. As right. Okay, so we'll try and work on the positioning of Bernard's camera so that you can also get to watch him from your various homes on get to understand exactly what the vision is for Akwatia. The NDC said the campaign messaging is what won for them on the ground, and he says that yes, he's had a call from Asumedu congratulating him on the win, among others, as is expected to happen in matters of this nature. But we'll work on that and make sure that we have a clearer connection to Bernard Bediako Beidu, who is MP elect for Akwatia. And we know that when Parliament reconvenes, he will be sworn in as MP for the area. So Bernard, talk to me. What did the trick for you? Because we are told the MPP says, well, you were dangling developments, sometimes, holding the hands of Akwatia residents and telling them, if you don't vote for me, you are not going to get any form of development whatsoever. What worked for you?
So let me take the opportunity to say good morning to your viewers. And also to thank the people of Akwatia for the honor done me and my party, NDC. And assure and reassure them that we will not take this honor for granted. Let me say that, as you may have said, it is the message that worked for us. If your cameras were all over, your friends were around us, they would tell you what we were telling the delegates, the constituents, and then compare with what our brothers and sisters were also telling the constituents. We came in a bit later because we went for primaries. They selected a candidate. So they were out there campaigning, and the process to elect our candidate, it's not a simple process. So it took a while. Immediately after I was elected, the tragedy hit us because it was a tragedy. The tragedy that affected us more, we couldn't go on to the field to campaign. So, whilst our brothers and sisters were on the field, we were home grieving. So, we understudied what they were doing. We saw the weaknesses in there. And then when we got out there, we exploited it. The people, embraced our message and said that, wow, this is what we want to hear. And the message is a simple one of two main points. First and foremost, who do you want to represent you? The two of us, put on a scale. If you want to be a good representative of the people, or if you are choosing a representative of the people, it is a simple one of going for somebody who would carry your cross, carry the problems of the constituency, and advocate for the same to be resolved. The problems of the constituency are known. If your cameras are around, they will tell you so many problems. But who would advocate for same to be resolved? The two of us put on a scale. Where would the balance fall? And if you want to be a good advocate, you want to be a good representative, you should be a good advocate, you should have the lobbying skills, you should be a good communicator and all that. No doubt about that. And so put both of us on the scale. And the people of Akwatia accepted that.
Right. Bernard, if you could just rotate the phone to landscape for me.
Bear with me. Sorry, let me add this. The second one has to do with your connection. You may be talking. You may be eloquent. You may be able to speak well and all that. But at the end of the day, if you are not connected to the powers that be, you will not earn anything. And so the other thing they considered was the fact that the government of the day is NDC, which is barely 8 months in office. It's not as if we will go for the next election in the next 6 months. I mean, a chunk of its mandate has not been chalked yet. And so if you need development, surely you should go for a party in power. Which party is NDC, my party? And so they considered both the personality and then the connection. And it worked for us. Okay. On the contract, anyway, you proceed.
Yes, Bernard, if you could just rotate your phone to landscape mode so that we can get your video. It's currently, yes, it's better now. Fantastic. So in terms of the recent developments we saw in Akwatia, because your opponents have accused the NDC of basically putting or dangling development in the face of the residents there. For instance, the commissioning of the DVLA office on Sunday, and then the road construction works that began in the lead up to the election.
So the construction of the road, the DVLA office was done because of the by-election. Is that what they are saying? The construction happened long before. I mean, you can't put together such an edifice in a month or two. That's not what happened. But in terms of commission, are they telling us that because there was a by-election, we shouldn't commission a completed facility to serve the people? I'm not sure anybody is suggesting that. I mean, that the edifice started way before it's completed. We need to commission it to serve the people. We commissioned it. Even the day of by-election wasn't a holiday. People were asked to go to work. So if you are a contractor and your work is to deliver on road, and you've been taxed or you've not been asked to stay home, you surely would have to work. And so if people worked or contractors were working on our roads, there was nothing. Look, the first question is this: were the roads in good shape? Our brothers who are complaining have been in power for 8 years. What did they do to help resolve these problems with roads? What did they do? They should tell us. If the roads were asphalted and everything was well, and you are telling us that the road was fixed, but we are putting another layer on it, wasting money, that would have made sense. You fail the people. They should mention one singular thing they did in Akwatia and its environs, which legacy they want to mostly talk about. One in the entire constituency for the 8-year rule. So you see, the verdict is as a result of your mandate that you delivered, whether good or bad, in 2024. You see, let me give you the background to this road construction and all that. It didn't come from us. I say this, and you can find out from the chiefs. Go take your cameras to the chiefs. The chief of staff was in town and some ministers to introduce me to the chiefs. That is why they came. Now the chiefs, led by the Osiewo Hene of Achimwenchi, told the chief of staff and impressed upon him to do certain, to help, lead government to do certain things for them. They chronicled a lot of stuff, which demand included putting up a satellite campus of University of Mines at GCD. A lot of demands, which were normally, this is what happens. And the chief of staff said, well, these are good initiatives, but I am not here for that. I came to only introduce my candidate. So if these matters must be discussed properly, then Nananum, please, our candidate and then the DC of the area should bring you to the Jubilee House for a discussion, which happened. The discussion happened, and they insisted, the chiefs, all the chiefs in the community, they insisted that some routes are terrible and that something needs to be done about it. Then, in a meeting which I was privileged to be part of, the government, the officials of the meeting, the meeting was chaired by the Vice President of the Republic, who was then the acting president, because the president wasn't in town. They looked at what they could be done in the interim. And together with the chiefs, they agreed that certain very critical routes needs to be touched. And so they had to speak to the roads minister who was in town. He asked his deputy. They facilitated it and awarded the contracts for the people to have the good routes. And it has been awarded. These are not drip machines. I've heard my brother elsewhere talk about drip machines. The drip machines were used in the small towns. And look, there is a certain town called Amakro. It is complete. The day I went to campaign, that was the same day my brother Asumedu also went. He went on a motorbike. I took Abubuya. Can you imagine this day and age? A car cannot go to that community. Just because, not because there is no road or there is no there are no routes there. There is, but it's so terrible that no car can go there. He was on a motorbike. I was on Abubuya. And so we went there. My brother donated some money because the people said they were going to rent a machine to fix the road for them. Some parts, because it's a wet, the season, you don't construct roads at this time if it's kind of a wet or a swampy area, which area has that trait. So there is a part which is a bit hard. It's okay. There is a part which is also not. But they said even where the road is a bit okay and can be graded, they needed something to be done about it. The chiefs and my brother Asumedu on that day gave out some money that they should go 5,000 to buy fuel and they themselves should have the money to go and hire the services of a grader to do that. I went there. I said, no, this cannot be done because 5,000. Even if I add another 5,000, it cannot do that way. So I had to settle on the district assembly and then insist that no, this road must be fixed. And they did that. They went there and fixed the road. What's wrong with that? Because at the end of the day, the people, look, that place, if anybody gets sick, look, the chances of the person surviving beyond the initial things they may do there, if the person has to be taken to the hospital, the chances of the person surviving is 1%.
Right.
Trust me, if you go there. So if these people are in this need, must we say because of by-election, we will not do...
So for you, the timing is just coincidental and not to induce voters at all?
Not at all, because you see, and it came from the chiefs. You see, in the meeting, the chief of staff told the chiefs that the president is not interested in deceiving you. That is why we've not started anything. We are just in government. And so we do not want to do anything to appear as though we are buying votes with that. The chief said, we know, but we need it. We are hungry for it. We don't care what time it is, whether it's by-election or off-election or is-election, they don't care. He said they need the project. That is why the chiefs are not complaining. You know that elsewhere, you would hear the chiefs, or when things like this happen, you hear the chiefs even complaining that you didn't do it, you are now doing it. Why are the chiefs not talking? Why is my brothers, who are not even residents of Akwatia, the ones complaining, most of them? You see, because the chiefs requested and they prayed hard. They demanded for the prayer because for the last 8 years or so, nothing has happened there. They are in need of the roads. The road is now being fixed. And so what's wrong with that? Because of by-election, the people should die. We should do what is needful. What is important for me is this, that, of course, you cannot construct a road within 1 week or two. So certainly the road should continue beyond the election. So what I think we should rather do is to find out whether after the election 2 days ago, the construction is still ongoing. If it were meant to deceive them, the construction would have stopped. But take your cameras around. They are working. They are fixing the roads. The people are happy.
Very well. Council, thank you so much. Richard, so does that address the concerns about development and dangling out before the residents?
skirmish that is going on there is sanctioned at the highest office.
Yes, but he says it was a request from the chiefs.
Forget about his narrative on the matter. Why are you taking that to be the fact?
Well, he says
what we are seeing there is a skirmish. I am happy that the roads will be fixed. Admittedly, there are very difficult situations in Akwatia. The roads are not particularly in good shape, but it's not for want of neglect or failure to intentionally not do it, but just about limited resources, prioritizing here and there. You know that the Akufo-Addo government invested heavily in road construction, and up and down now, up and down. I mean, surrounding communities like Asamanke said, when you go there, the roads are done. So it's just a progression. Okay. It will be done necessarily. And I am one to admit that, look, we need to fix the roads. Because what you do, what you achieve when you expand or build roads is that you open the place up for development. So there's no question about that. Okay. But the point of contention is, how is it that overnight, suddenly, the NDC and my brother just now know that there's a community in his own constituency that a car cannot go. And they have been in government for how many days? Right? And suddenly, oh, wow, there's a discovery. And he says he's been a secretary.
He went to
I'm saying that he says that.
No,
but the thing is, all the things I say, you should be happy I'm responding, because you are going to be you are going to find difficult responding to what you just said. But I'm just coming. I'm just saying that suddenly, our brother Bediako just found, oh, there's this community, car cannot go there, Boboya, and all of that stuff is talking. But he was a constituency secretary in that constituency and didn't know that there was a community like that. So it's an indictment. So what I'm saying is that what skirmish they are doing.
Are you in charge of your show?
Oh, my brother.
No.
But there's two of you. Richard. You know, Solo is supporting.
They're from two different places. You know what? Let me give you a better answer. But I've told him that you're not.
Joshua.
There are not two of them.
We are in opposition together. So it has to be two against one.
Two against
No, I will.
All right. Okay, Hamza.
No, I beg you. Let me.
I am a responsible opposition.
Right.
He's not responsible.
Okay,
I beg you. Just quick. I beg you. He said we are in opposition together. But our communication is not aligning. He's aligning
because you have deviated.
All right, Hamza. Let me give you the floor.
You see, these are some of the issues that we face in our daily lives.
First of all, Joshua,
you allowed him to pass.
If you followed my commentary on the Akwatia by-election declaration, I have been quite consistent. When the NPP held a press conference and called on the NDC to boycott the process, I told you and those who were interested in listening that the reason why the NDC will contest the Akwatia by-election was not simply because the NDC needed an additional seat. I also made the point that it was part of our democratic ethos to give the people a competitive choice to make. And I said that the NDC's decision to withdraw from that race would be denying the good people of Akwatia a bargaining opportunity to hold this government accountable when it comes to their respective communities. And we would not be fair to them if we decide to deny them that bargaining right. I made that point. And listening to the parliamentary candidate-elect there, I stand vindicated. You see, I am against any form of vote buy. And though even when my brother made the allegation, he was unable to substantiate that the NDC was on the ground sharing money. When we made similar allegations in some constituencies in Kumasi, we had video evidence of them actually sharing money. And many of you in the media actually reported it. So he realized that he's just engaged in a usual way of enthusing himself to make the trends. But in truth, he has nothing to back the allegation he threw out. But you see, Joshua, I'm happy that my brother seemed to have vindicated me. Because he said the chiefs. That tells me that the chiefs actually understood that the power they got as a result of that by-election, and they were unwilling to let that power slide. So they needed to start their negotiations with government and place certain demands on them. If there is anybody who should be concerned about the attitude of the chiefs, it must be all of us as political leaders. Because if we could be trusted in the way we conduct our businesses, our politicians, I'm not sure the chiefs would have made those demands. But we have seen the conduct of us. And here, I'm not taking out the NPP and the NDC. Of course. We've all been part of it. And so we need to understand some of these things. Right. And let me conclude on this matter, finally, because I can understand that you are dealing with time issues.
Yes, and your brother is still on though.
Yes. Is he?
No, he's done.
No, he's on.
You see, Josh, look, I thank God for the candidate that they have elected. Because even listening to him, you can appreciate the depth. You can appreciate the readiness. You can appreciate the versatility. And you can appreciate that he understands the job ahead of him and what he needs to do to resolve the problem. And most importantly, he reflects on all fours, the character of President Mahama when it comes to his disdain for quick fixes. You listen to the gentleman. He also could have dipped his hand into his pocket as a lawyer and added 5,000 to Asumedu's money. But he understood that that was a quick fix. Just like President Mahama's approach to our national crisis, including Dumso, long-term investments, though with political repercussions, our candidate opted for a long-term solution to the challenges of the people. That is commendable. And that gives credence, indeed, to why even the NDC had to go all out to campaign for him.
Right.
And he's justified the NDC. But finally, you see, to the NPP, my brother, you can continue to underrate the level of deterioration that has characterized the NPP. You can continue to belittle the depths of low that you find yourselves as a political party. One thing is certain. On the side of the National Democratic Congress, we have a commitment, and that commitment was made in 2016, that we would do everything humanly possible, but most importantly, fulfilling the promises we made to the good people of this country, and ensure that we even deprive you your second status as the most active political party after the National Democratic Congress. And hopefully, my brothers in the butterfly fraternity would take over that role. But I can assure you that what we have today as NPP leaders are remnants of Nana Baumia's failures. And that is why even as National Executive Committee members, they are still unable to find solutions to the challenges bedeviling the NPP. Because it is a continuation of the Nanado legacy, his failures, and that of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and they are still committed to pursue that agenda. And that is why there is... But we saw what they did to the economy of this country. Absolutely. For the first time, we are unable to borrow.
It's not done.
Please, for the first time, we are unable... Joshua, I'm London. For the first time... Joshua, I'm London. For the first time in our history, we were unable to borrow in the capital markets because they locked us out. Our city went extremely low. Our debt levels had become unsustainable. Our economy was rated as junk. At the time we were complaining about the stature of Ghana, little did we know that on another vein, the Nana Bawumia administration was doing more harm to the fortunes of the New Patriotic Party. And so for us, thankfully, we have taken charge of our economy. We are trying to put the economy back on track to get it to work. But we will do everything humanly possible to ensure that these people do not have access to our national economy again. And if there's any second force, it should never be the New Patriotic Party. Hopefully they're from fraternity.
You are a prophet because
but you know, you have to give me time.
What time are you going to give him? No, nobody. We are here.
Direct question.
No. But David wants to do what he did. In any case, we would just become the second force.
Absolutely, I agree.
We are becoming a political party soon. They have lost it. There is no hope in them. But I was very surprised to learn from him that they did the rose up to Asamankese and then they were going to do it. You remember this debate of they have constructed more than 10,000 kilometers in this country. You see, sometimes you can go on with all your propaganda, but Akwatia, the reality of Akwatia would expose you. That in spite of the 10,000 kilometers of roads that you claim you have done, a single one could not enter Akwatia. That was too much. Now, I'm also very surprised that, and Richard knows that what he told your viewers is not the truth. That he's unaware that the party is demanding 4.6 million from aspirants. That would be serious. Because he is the communication director. And for the communication director of the party to come and say that he is not aware the party is taking 4.6, when Adenimo is already in town with the press release stating emphatically that the party was demanding 4.6 million from him, which by extension means that 5 candidates have already paid 23 million cedis, then it's serious. Then he talks about, oh, then if the money is not adding, someone has to top up. No, this was not how the NPP was built. Party members are supposed to pay dues. All parties across the world pay dues. It is the reason you are a member. So that the responsibility, the financial responsibility and commitments are not only left to few people who then hijack the party. That's how come recently you've been hearing this business of, I am a party financier, How can you finance an entire party? How can you do that? If the party was being run, well, it's the reason why the party has degenerated so much. Because party members that are willing to pay dues have been denied the opportunity to pay dues. It is about few people. And when they come to power too, it's the same few people that grab all the juicy contracts and neglect.
Your source is just Adenimo.
Adenimo is a credible person. I was expecting if Adenimo was lying, by now there would have been a press statement. Even someone's fight at Akwatia has as it was solicited, what petition? How much more Adenimo openly lying? And I think the media houses must do the greatest honors by putting Adenimo on the line to actually confirm his statement that indeed he was asked to pay 4.6 million, and whether or not those that are found paid the 4.6 million. And what do they mean by development fee? What development? So it tells you that it's a strategy to eliminate more than 99.9% of their members who are not rich. They have come to power, they have amassed wealth, so they are eliminating the poor ones who have the ideas. And I believe Richard disagrees, just that he lacks the balls to tell the party that while you are going, you will let us overtake CPP very soon. Not to be at power with CPP. That is where they are going.
Right.
So sad.
So, before I'll come to Richard, but finally,
yes,
on Akwatia,
yes,
Ochebefi said he would resign if they don't win. Now he says it was political talk, and we should let that slide.
You see, that is one of the reasons why I say the party is going down very fast. That the very seat that Ochebefi occupies, New Mensah, has been occupied by Yabema before. You know Yabema? He used to be our deputy attorney general, Eastern Regional Minister. From there came Benes, was the Boatin, very astute woman. Then came Asibe Ebua. Asibe Ebua was your finance committee chair. Yeah. The party, all the forces gathered together and removed such a renowned mind. Because New South, if you know the dynamics of that constituency, it's a safe seat for the MPP. It used to be, but now, I'm sure even if there is a by-election today, it will be difficult. Then they pushed Asibe out and brought Befi. Who will do that? What significant thing has Befi added to ever since he came to occupy that position? The last time he said he would chop off his head should the MPP lose. The head is still standing. This one too, we were sitting at somewhere thinking about our own issues. Then he said you would resign. Okay, resign for us too. He said no. I went overboard. What is this business? So how do you expect the constituency to take you serious?
But he's confirmed that in 2020 he will not contest.
No, he knows that the people who vote against him because he had added zero. He's a zero-sum effect in New South. He's a zero-sum effect. Go to the constituency and ask them. Now when he gets to the constituency, he hides. I have a lot of relatives in that constituency. He hides. Because he used money. It was all about money. That is why I say all of us must come together and deal with the issue of monetization of our politics. Other than that, good minds, credible minds, people who have vision, who have plan, will be denied the opportunity of representation.
I think it's one thing that we all agree to. Richard made that point that generally monetization of our politics is terrible.
But he fell short of condemning his party.
How do you mean?
Your party is taking 4.6 million. You are happy with it?
But we know of 600,000.
No.
So where's the 4 million?
So I want you to, he said it's a development fee according to Adenimo. Adenimo can never lie for any reason.
Really?
Yes, the statement is here.
No, it's okay. So you see, so here's the fact. Okay, the National Council, as part of determining the processes for the presidential primaries, in the wisdom of National Council. So this is the party.
Yes.
This is the party, the second highest decision-making body of the party.
That said that they should pay 4.6 million.
Yes, I have a deliberation, and the consensus was that, okay, we're in opposition. The party political activities are run by financing, financial, responsibilities are there for the party to meet with respect to the primary elections and all. How do we get the money to do it? We have to raise the money somehow. We can't apply for a loan.
But you can raise the money by causing your members to pay dues. You know that is the position of the MPP.
That is one leg.
That is the main means of raising financing for the party. It has been so since 92.
I don't disagree. I'm saying that is one option. Okay, you can raise funds. And so we can apply for a loan, okay? So we have to generate. And Solo knows very well how they finance their movement, which he's saying is going to morph into a political party.
We are already there.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not, but I'm just saying that how you fund it actually is through fundraising within. Unless you want to tell me that there's some room full of money that you go and just...
We don't have it. As for us, you have the money.
But how you do your movement is you raise funds.
Yes.
So which is the same thing we're doing. It's a fundraising, right? And so that... If I say I want to run for the flag bearership position of the New Patriotic Party, it's a leadership position. And so we're saying that we need to raise funds. And the wisdom of National Council says that, well, there will be a development fee imposed. I said to you that I don't know about 4.6 million because that amount, I have not heard that amount
determined. That is serious.
That amount has not been determined. I just showed Hamza something.
That was the release.
No. I showed him something in respect of trying to understand exactly when Adenimo mentioned that, Honorable Adenimo mentioned that, to see when was this amount determined. So I don't know about that amount.
But that is the greatest disservice to you, because you are the communication director of the party.
No.
Well, you have to know.
I agree. I'm just saying that I have not, and the position remains, and the individual that I was checking from says he doesn't know.
So that's serious.
Hold on. So the point is that where is he getting that from?
That is why. So let's call Adenimo and then put him on.
Hold on. Just hold on.
We will not hold on this because we want to impugn the integrity of Adenimo here.
I am not.
Adenimo says he has to pay 4.6.
He says he's not aware because that has not been communicated.
Adenimo is aware. He's communicated. So take Adenimo's side of the story.
But why should I take that
But
side?
he was going to be a partaker in the whole process. By virtue of the money he withdrew. So why are you not taking it his position?
Christ, just hold on.
All right, I'm holding on.
Hold on. Is this what you are going to do with your movement for change party?
The political party that is coming will be so attractive that you would want to, and we will grant you amnesty to join us.
Right. So just chill for now. So the point I am making is that National Council having deliberated and agreed on a development fee, I have not heard an amount of 4.6 million, tabled, discussed, and approved for anybody to pay.
Okay.
You understand?
Right.
So if he's saying 4.6, I've inquired from the rightful source where I should get that information. The person says no. And so where he's getting it from, I don't know. So maybe he can tell us that he's been written a letter, he's been told or asked to pay 4.6 million. And even if that is the case, it's not illegal. A political party fundraises. And so if you want to step ahead as a leader of the party and says that we're raising some money to develop the party, and because you are running to become a leader, it is a requirement that you pay that amount to support the process. I don't think that is wrong in anybody's dictionary.
That you support it?
So the truth is that I support the principle of fundraising,
but
which
you don't
is
support
what
the
this
amount.
is about. Okay, so you see, so that must be clear.
But you support this amount of 4.6 million?
He's not been able to confirm that.
No, it's confirmed. Adenimo has confirmed it.
No problem. You can keep that.
Yes.
But I'm just telling you that, as far as I know, I attend National Council. Tomorrow, Friday, there's a steering committee meeting. That matter will be raised. I'm not clear in my mind, and I've asked the rightful source.
But if it is confirmed, will you be angry at the amount, or you'll be okay with it? That's what I want to know.
No, I won't be.
You will be okay with it?
Yes.
Richard, you are going to be okay with 4.6 million?
You know this thing.
What are you talking about?
You know this thing when it says that Obenyina Beto.
Yeah. Obenyina Beto.
Oh, now Obenyina Beto.
I have to ask you.
He keeps interrupting me. But you know, I'm coming.
Let me help you.
You need to tell Solo. Obenyina Beto.
I am so saddened in my heart that you are supporting such a venture.
Let him finish and
young men in this party don't have future.
You see, this is my personal view on the matter. I have also read the Adanimo story. Yes. But you see, Solo, I have always maintained it has nothing to do with monetization. I have always maintained that when it comes to the presidency of the Republic of Ghana, you must use your decision to contest to demonstrate your ability to even garner confidence from the grassroots. Their willingness to be able to contribute, raise funds, and go and support the activities of your political party. It's something we all should encourage. You remember when the NDC came out with this filing fee in opposition? There were elements within the NDC who also raised concerns about the volumes involved. And we argued then that, look, if you want to be a flag bearer, you must demonstrate your ability to raise funds.
But you know the danger with that?
I said, but I'm coming. I'll get to you. Let's conclude. Let me just conclude.
Hold
on. But you see, when I also saw the 4.6 million, in all honesty, I felt that it was extreme because we're even in the region of 300,000.
Yes.
It was not 4.6 million we're talking about. I think 200 or 300,000. Yes. So when I saw the allegation, and it was 4.6 million Ghana cedis, the only thing I told myself was that perhaps maybe they are looking for ways to clean out all the stolen wealth from their party. What's the name? Former ministers and former functionaries of
But is this how you say you are going to help?
Yeah. No, so I mean, I didn't think he was going to help anyway. Well, no, he only wasn't the case. But you see, so the truth is that I know what Solo is trying to do, just trying to carry on. But that's okay. Okay. But the truth is that the principle is not questionable. It's not impeachable that a political party would want to raise funds. As to the imposition of 4.6 million, I have not been in any meeting where that amount was stated.
But Josh,
when I
let us establish that point.
I'm just coming.
If it is true,
I'm not disagreeing or agreeing.
I'm only 4.6. What will be his position?
No,
let us.
Hold on.
Solo, please.
What I'm saying is that I have not been in any meeting which I'm supposed to be in that amount was imposed. And if that is the amount, I will not disagree with it.
Absolutely.
Because, so I've made that point already. I won't disagree with it because the party needs to raise funds. We can't apply for a loan. Okay, we need to raise funds amongst ourselves to build a party. So there's nothing wrong with that. If Solo is saying that, this is wrong, that's why I say, when your party that you're forming, when it happens, unless maybe you want to write to the NDC to fund you.
Why would they write?
You are sitting close to camera.
Why would it do that? It
comes from you.
The idea of trying to create
your mathematics is not good. If you are saying the distance here is the same. The point is that maybe that's what you want to do. But for us, we'll raise funds amongst ourselves to be able to do that. There's no problem. With that. So that's the point I want to make to you. So, DZ, I want to make a final appeal. I hope we'll have a time again, or we're done.
We'll have a time again. We'll quickly need to touch on the CJ.
This matter, I'll reserve it for last.
Okay. All right. So let me start with you. The removal of the CJ. CJ says, well, she's now going to the COAS court that, they should rule in her favor. After what we saw, the president acting on the recommendations of the Puaman committee says that CJ must go. Historic.
So the president, in all fairness, has behaved within the confines of the law. President Mahama has been spot on. And the disappointment I have is that you hear legal people that we have perceived to be legal luminaries all along, given the opportunity to express an opinion on this matter. Although the president erred. So the next thing ordinarily you expect from them is to quote the relevant provisions in our constitution where the president has erred. And then they will chicken out, they'll run away. Someone petitions the president that I want the Chief Justice to be removed. And Article 146 says someone must petition. And so here people are downplaying the stature of the Wanda petition. Mr. Daniel Ofori, for Christ's sake, is not a pushover or a walkover. He's the single largest investor in the Ghana Stock Exchange. He's the third largest investor in Ghana Commercial Bank, third largest investor in EcoBank, fourth largest investor in SIC. He started Whitechapel when we were growing up. Advert, black and white, Whitechapel. What did you hear that, Advert?
Yes.
What are they talking about? When he started his life, a lot of people who are making noise today hadn't seen anything. He realized that this Chief Justice wasn't taking us to anywhere. And that her actions and inactions amounted to someone that was already always looking down upon the Constitution. He petitions the President together with the Council of State, establishes a prima facie. After that, there's supposed to be suspension, a committee formed. Is that not what the President did? Mm-hmm. A committee was formed. Chief Justice, go there and then make your case. Don't forget that these matters were to be heard in camera. We had a Chief Justice who was supposed to be all-knowing of our laws. The rules of engagement must be on her fingertips. She flouted she disregarded the committee, disrespected them with impunity by coming out to hold a press conference. Well, in this country, enumerating whatever was taking place at the committee. Mm-hmm. Now, I have had the benefit of getting some of the exchanges at the committee, and you will wonder whether this Chief Justice indeed served this country well. All the things she came to say in the public, she lied. Because under cross-examination at the committee, she admitted that at all material time she had a petition, and she knew what she was doing. All that she wanted to do at the committee was to yell at them, to insult them when the committee makes a ruling. A woman, a man talk about shame. She did all these things at the committee. To the extent that her lawyers had to apologize at one time. She herself had to agree with the committee that they have indulged her. But all these things, she never told the committee, told the public.
Right.
So a conclusion has been made. The president has no option or discretion. Once the recommendation is that she has to be removed, it's automatic.
But the conversation is that the basis for her removal are problematic because the claims that were raised, for instance, Sophia Akufo has spoken, says that the grounds on which she was removed, those are not, they do not warrant the removal of a Chief Justice, and it affects the independence of
Joshua,
the
if I were the former Chief Justice Sophia Akufo, I would have resigned as a Council of State member this morning.
Why?
She has lost every credibility she had before me. She has lost everything. What she did yesterday was what we call solidarity. Yes, she knows the embattled Chief Justice in three fronts. First of all, she's a woman. She's also a woman. They all both attended Wesley Girls Secondary School. They both have occupied the Chief Justice position before. That was the only reason she did what she did yesterday.
Why? She didn't have basis for
what basis? You, on the matter of procurement alone, she single-handedly determined the prima facie case using the same Article 146. And we were in this country in 2017, somewhere July. She, through the judicial secretary, warned every Ghanaian that should you dare comment about what the committee were doing about Charlotte Ote's case, we all be in prison. This former Chief Justice told us that. What is so trivial about traveling with your husband and daughter when they are not supposed to be part of it and giving them per diem? You and I are tax revenue. Someone who is supposed to know. She does this and you say, oh, it's trivial. What are you talking about? I will call on the state security agencies to begin to go and investigate her time as the Chief Justice. Because it means she did worse. If she finds all these things are trivialities. It's a serious crime. If you are the Chief Justice, someone that can imprison someone, your bar is so high. What about the Francis Badin issue? In Jatikwesi's matter, that the Deputy Director of ICT, you accused him wrongly that he had tampered with evidence. You set up a committee. When the committee went into the matter, they realized that nothing of that sort had happened and recommended the reinstatement of the gentleman. While you flattered the recommendation from the committee, you sent this gentleman all the way to Tamale to be in charge of court processes, something that he has no clue. Go and ask Fosuji Abo, that lawyer, and a lot of judges how she transferred them. Hey, things have happened. So he should allow us to live in peace.
Okay.
As for Sophia Akuffo, I've said the baby boomers in this country are a problem. You know the baby boomers, those that were born in the 1940s. They had everything cheap. At the university, they were even fed. They said they would go on demonstration because they were having too much chicken. They had everything cheap, but they had destroyed. If the former Chief Justice of Akuffo wants me to take her serious and to see her as an honest person, she must return the land that she bought for 7,000 at cantonments. As a value, I'm scandalized. Who will buy land at 7,000 and still claim that she's honest? No, they should leave the youth, those of us that they have destroyed our lives, to be living sheepishly, to go away in peace.
Okay. Hamza.
You see, I will indulge you because since the report came out, I decided not to waste time and energy on running commentary on something that has been decided.
Yeah.
And to tell those who are interested in the politics of it to continue in that self-delusion that something can still be done to save a woman who has been shown the exit. And indeed, it should have been long ago. I think this is where I agree with my brother Solo. The first petitions that came against her came when Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was president of the Republic of Ghana. It did not come under His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. Indeed, upon assumption of office, His Excellency President Mahama has received not 2, but about 3 petitions against her. That tells a certain story about how Ghanaians felt about her conduct as Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. It was on public display. Like Solo indicated, President Mahama followed the constitutional dictates to the letter on this matter. And this is not the first time President Mahama, as Chief Justice, has received petitions against a Chief Justice. Remember, in his first term, we even had a retired Supreme Court judge filing a petition against Chief Justice Georgina Wood. President Mahama looked at the content of the petition, an appointee of the previous NPP government. Remember that she was appointed under President Kufuor as Chief Justice. If President Mahama was petty and partisan, especially a petition coming from a colleague judge, retired then, President Mahama looked at the content of the petition and concluded it did not meet the threshold and discarded the petition against their own appointee. They, the NPP, in their overzealousness, filed another petition against Shiraj boss, Madame Loretta Lamte, former Shiraj boss, with the same President John Dramani Mahama as President of the Republic of Ghana and an appointee of His Excellency President Mahama and the NDC government. President Mahama looked at the content of those petitions and agreed with the NPP that indeed there was a need for him to look into these petitions and forwarded same to the Chief Justice. They succeeded with their inspired petition to remove Madam Charlotte Osei. Then the constitution was working. There was no partisanship. It was not done to favor the NDC. You see, there are double standards and there are hypocrisy. When it comes to the NPP, anytime you use this constitution against them, then they find everything wrong with the constitution. But when there are those using it, there's nothing wrong with it. That same Article 146, they invoked same as Nanado as president and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as vice president and my brother as director of communications of the New Patriotic Party. They invoked same against Madam Charlotte Osei. In her case, the petitioners were faceless. It was enough for His Excellency the President and the MPP government to have thrown it away. They refused to throw it away. In fact, they identified the faceless people. Only God knows how they did it. Maybe by some dint of miracle or magic. It is difficult. How they identified those faceless people, individuals. The likes of the former director of the Ghana School of Law, Matthew Opoku Prempe, right? Come on. Opoku Ajiman and the likes. They came and they signed it, gave a face to the faceless petition. And they used that same faceless petition to take Madam Charlotte Osei out of office. And indeed, that whole process was presided over by Madam Sophia Akufo. The one talking today, the one complaining today.
That's so annoying.
She presided over the processes. That led to the removal of Charlotte Osei. You see, so when you listen to these guys, they behave as though a different set of blood flows through their veins as MPP members. But when it comes to the rest of Ghana, mad goes through our blood. As if there are some special breed of people.
Right.
Joshua, these are the facts. In all the commentary against, it is difficult to point out where there has been a breach as far as Article 146 is concerned.
I think that the conversation is about whether or not the merits.
I will get there. I will
but
get
we
there.
need to go. We don't have much time.
But finally, but don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. This is very, very important.
I know.
Madam Sophia Akufo raised 3 fundamental issues. She said that a trial appeared like a treasonable trial.
Can you imagine?
The Supreme Court that she was part of decided that when it comes to the procedure of a commission of inquiry, the commission is clothed with the authority to decide its own procedure.
Absolutely.
And so if the commission decided that the trial should be in the form of a treasonable process, it was backed by law and decisions that she presided over.
Even this one, that was not what happened. She lied.
And that was not what happened.
She lied.
That was clearly a lie. Secondly, it raises issues about her own integrity. She's one I had respect for. Because you are a member of the Council of State that in the first place decided on whether or not there was a prima facie, even if you were dissenting on the committee as part of the council.
Nobody
it became
dissented.
a council decision.
Nobody dissented.
Nobody dissented.
Abstained.
It became in fact, we are told she abstained. You
Yes.
didn't even dissent.
That is really
it
serious.
became a council decision. And you are part of that council. So you were part of the process. And so for me, it appeared a little bit unethical to have heard that she agreed to testify as a witness.
That's serious.
That was serious.
And she's the
ethical
head
breach
of legal and constitutional affairs
at the Council of State.
What is this?
It tells you the kind of people that were being paraded in this country to preside over our justice system. She also raises an issue about the fact that if you look at the issues, they were not grave enough. Are you kidding me, Joshua? We are not talking about the presidency of the Republic of Ghana. We are not talking about parliament. We are talking about the justice delivery architecture of the Republic of Ghana. That touches on almost everybody in this country. That must be more serious than even the presidency and the legislature, if you ask me. That is why even in our coups, the justice system in a way stands. Even when there's a military takeover. It tells you the pride of place it has in the life of the ordinary Ghanaian.
Right.
Because that is where we go to seek for justice.
Yeah.
And if it is that important, errors that the president may be engaging and go scot-free, or the speaker may be engaging and go scot-free, we cannot afford the head of that institution to go free with such same allegations.
Okay.
Issues that can take the SRC president of University of that cannot even take the SRC president of University of Ghana out of his office.
We'll take them out.
Must be enough to take the Chief Justice out of office.
Okay. So you disagree?
I completely, because you see, it is sensitive. It is about justice.
Okay.
And if there's an iota of evidence that there's a real likelihood of bias on the part of Chief Justice or any delivery or the delivery architecture of justice in this country, we must be concerned.
Okay.
You must follow the ordeal of Solo. When people decided to use the judicial architecture to come heavily on him, the MPP regime.
Okay.
As a citizen of the Republic of Ghana. So we must avert many of these happenings.
Okay.
And I tell you, with excitement and with pride, that I am overly excited about the job of the committee, of Commission of Inquiry. Because I remember in the heat of the campaign, I monitored Madam Tokono. That's finally. I monitored Madam Tokono, and I was around Savulugu constituency, and I felt sad in the car throughout our campaign. And my brother, now Deputy Minister of Roads and Highways, kept on asking me what the issue was. And I played the video when they were dealing with the parliamentary issue. And I said that, look, I have sat in a law class. I have appeared before judges in the United Kingdom. I have appeared before judges in Ghana. I never experienced that display of arrogance and disdain for our judicial system. My brother on the line, I was like, are you guys watching the conduct of the Chief Justice on air? Is this the kind of image we want to sell to the international community? So for me, this is a huge blessing to the Republic of Ghana. And a communication to our international observers that this country will invoke the laws unless they are not in our constitution to get things right. And Article 146 was not put in our constitution as an ornament to be worn. It was put in there to apply. And I hope and pray that the MPP will see the sense to join us in this crusade to reset our judiciary. Unless, of course, they are interested
you have the
in
floor,
using it to continue to hound the likes of Solo.
I have to have it first. But you see, look, we await the saint that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will appoint
as Chief Justice.
As Chief Justice to replace Justice Gertrude Tokono. We await that saint. We await that saint. What President Mahama has done is to collapse the fundamental doctrine of separation of power in our democracy. He's collapsed it.
Can you imagine?
Completely collapsed it. So right now, the judiciary as we know it, which is a co-equal arm of government, has been subjugated, systematically undermined, and fear instilled in them in the discharge of their job, because the political invasion of the judicial arm of our government has been expressly stated, and it is a standing reminder that if you are the Chief Justice, you are not a man, a woman of your own. This is not about Justice Tokono. It's not about her. It's about the institution. It's about the invalidation of a co-equal arm of government. If anybody has a rage, the rage must be focused on President Mahama's invalidation of that. He has no business doing that. Look, it says that Article 146 is not put in the Constitution as ornament. Yes. But it was not put there to be abused the way it was abused. So the threshold was, Solo was saying, because if you are someone who can pronounce judgment and have people jailed, the bar for you is high. The bar to get close to even determining to remove a Chief Justice is as high as the decision to consider even impeaching the president or to remove the head of the legislature, the speaker. So what is done is political. And my brother can be proud for all he wants. But what I can tell him, that they have set a very dangerous precedent which determines for future leaders of our country to say that if it happened yesterday, it can happen tomorrow. The point here is that the judiciary now is completely incapacitated, is subject to the political whims of the day, and they cannot be independent. The judiciary of our country will never be the same again. That's the fundamental matter.
Right.
The Electoral Commission.
Fundamental matter. Okay? So where we are getting to, I fear for our democracy. I worry. I worry for our democracy. Now the saint that President Mahama is going to bring, let that man be indeed a saint. We know who he's going to bring.
Who is he going to bring?
We know who he's going to bring.
Because the last time I asked Felix,
we know who
to,
His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is going to bring,
who
and I can tell you he's not a saint.
Who is he bringing?
But then they are creating the impression they are going to bring a saint. He better be a saint. He better be a saint. Because if he is not a saint, their conscience will judge them. I will excuse Solo, even though he's an avid supporter of this defacement of our democracy.
I am a supporter of the Constitution.
Even though
I am a supporter of the Constitution.
I'm coming. Even though Solo is an avid supporter of this.
But Josh, I'm sitting here.
This demolition. Hold on.
There is nothing devilish about this demolition.
The diminution of our judiciary. You are an avid supporter of that, and I'm saying that when the time comes and the when the appointment of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama come, and that person is not a saint.
Right.
Your conscience should judge you.
Of course, if there's a person,
your conscience should judge
him out.
Of course,
because what you are removing, Madam Tokono, of, okay, it's nothing close to an offense.
Right.
For which reason, any chief justice should be removed.
Of course.
Just 30 seconds.
Any, I beg you. No. So, I mean, don't be doing this.
Richard,
you are my good friend. So
you keep calling him into the conversation.
No, but because he's interrupting. Right. So the truth, I didn't call him. Right. I didn't call him.
You give it 30 seconds.
You see, the truth is that the NDC designed, purposed to remove Justice Tokono.
Okay.
And the Article 146, they keep telling you, where has it gone wrong and all of that. Yeah. Article 146 is an independent instrument in our Constitution. Your motive is what activates it.
Okay.
And we're saying that the motive here is self-serving. The motive here is political. So they were just looking for something to give a dog a bad name and hang it. And they have done that. And we're saying that that is a dangerous precedent because others now can leverage that. It happened yesterday to Tokono, so it can happen tomorrow to the saint.
Okay.
And if he is not a saint, it will happen to him.
Thank you.
And then the point is, are you closing?
Yes,
will I have a chance
closing,
okay, so then let me make
quickly. I'm really
my appeal. No, okay. Well, my appeal is that my good brother Solomon.
Yes.
You are an MPP by formation. Your ideas, everything that you are today is MPP. Right. So I'm coming. I'm coming. The point I am making. Hold on. The point I am making is that Solo cannot continue to attack the MPP the way he's doing.
This is unfair comment.
You can respond. So let me just.
But
but he should stop. So I'm just saying. I beg you. You want your 30 seconds? I beg you. I'm just landing. No, I'm making a plea. So Richard, just the point I'm making. So I beg you. With respect,
I will still like 30 seconds.
Yes. So the point I'm making is that we are having an internal contest. All our presidential candidates are focused on their elections. This constant attack of Dr. Baumia, this constant attack of this person, this constant attack of this person is not helpful.
Okay.
It's not right. It's not principled. If somebody does that to his political party, the candidate that is coming, because we also can do that, okay, he should cease and then make comments. Constructive criticism is okay, but attacking personalities, I plead with him. It's my good brother, not to continue that.
So first of all, I have never attacked any personality. I have attacked their messages. I was sitting by somewhere, and their own camps brought us the list of sins that they have done. And I only sought to enumerate the very sins. If you think those sins are not true, it is for you to advise your various camps that what you are doing will not inure to anybody's benefit. So let's get that one correct. Number two, This is an extract from Justice Siama. In that popular case, GHOne versus Attorney General Elagwe. And for your information, I'm reading what Justice Siama said. If our notion of the judiciary as an instrument of justice is to endure, then the Chief Justice, who is the head of this institution, should not be seen to be manipulating the justice system by any overt or covert act of his, by willfully promoting the prostitution or corruption of the system through meddlesome interference. If such a conduct becomes part of the modus operandi of the oversight responsibility of the Chief Justice, he or she will be seriously compromising her high office and be anathema to our civilized society. The consequences that will inevitably flow from such a despicable behavior may render him liable for removal. That is it.
Okay.
That the bar for a Chief Justice is so high, and that I will end on this note that I will continue to expose the ills of these candidates, be it Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. You see, when he mentioned Dr. Bawumia, he said others. Others have names. You are here promoting Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as one of the candidates. You said Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
No, because he said he doesn't have time to mention all the
names. He had time to mention Dr. Bawumia, but I didn't have time to mention
So you are doing an offense.
Why not
Very well. But he's the one you have been attacking the most. He's the one you have been attacking the most. That's why I mentioned.
Thank you.
But Richard, your 30 minutes expired.
Will the MPP call on Ochubefi to resign, true to his word?
That's a needless question.
Why is it needless?
How is that needless?
That is not necessary.
Because most of
Ablakwa, who is your foreign minister, says your foreign minister said he will resign. Has he resigned? Has he resigned?
Did Ablakwa say he resigned?
Has he resigned?
Yes, of course.
You have to say
gentlemen so much. He will resign over what?
But I'm saying he hasn't resigned.
Go
and ask him.
So Ochubefi will not resign.
I'm saying that it's a needless question.
Organizer still has his head on. After he promised them that he will cut off his head.
So
why do you expect these people lack integrity?
Why is it that you don't do that?
You can't trust them.
Okay.
And you are not calling on them to resign.
No, but
you don't talk back.
Nobody is resigning
except that this one, you are not happy with what
I'm
you are
saying
talking
that is why he will be part of their next national.
I'm just saying
he has been different.
I'm saying that nobody is resigning anywhere.
Okay.
So you agree with that statement?
You agree with that statement. So this is how our
So he will apologize.
Devoid of principle.
So he's already apologized.
I will resign
my political statement.
So you're in your party.
I am saying that.
There are no
I'm saying that, especially when you don't have time. Let's not spend it on this. Especially when he doesn't have time. Let's not spend it on this. We should talk about it.
Because you want to be benevolent.
Because you want by-elections.
Are you afraid of by-elections?
You want by-elections.
Are you afraid of
Thank you so much.
It's
with the Movement for Change. Hamza Suini is with the NDC. Richard Ayangba is Director of Communications for the NPP. Gentlemen, thank you so much. I think we should repeat this next week. We'll go for a quick break. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.